ultra capacity all-in-one washer dryer combo from the Home Depot. Then enjoy your summer while your laundry takes care of itself. Right now, get Memorial Day savings up to $500 off select laundry appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid May 16th through June 5th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher with Josh Garcia of the Miracle Mile Deli. Josh, I want to thank you and your family for making such a huge difference over the last 75 years in the restaurant business in Arizona.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve generations of families like yours in the Valley over the last 7 decades, and we are extremely grateful to be celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2024 with a variety of different specials. So come on down to our Phoenix location at 16th Street in Campbell with your family and friends and celebrate with us. For more information, visit miraclemiledeli.com.
Memorial Day deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, save big on Scott's Naturescapes mulch. Get 5 bags for just $10. And there's more. Get up to 40% off. Plus, save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances. These deals are selling fast, so start shopping now. Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 5/29. Mulch excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Appliance savings vary based on purchase. See Lowe's.com for details. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Hi, guys. Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast, too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? Huh? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin, crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay. Jolly good morning.
Ah, close, love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English muffin deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price. Prices are higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Need a boost in capital or a flexible line of credit for your growing business? Hi, I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital. I can help you get the money you need fast. The process is a breeze with a simple application and same-day approvals. No more waiting, no more hassle. Just a straightforward path to securing the funds you need faster and easier than asking your banker. So call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
Marijuana may be legal in Arizona, but driving impaired is not.
As a police officer here in Arizona, I know DUIs apply to more than just alcohol. Anything that impairs driving makes you dangerous on the road. If you feel different, you drive different, and driving impaired can get you a DUI.
Get the facts at drivinghighaz.com and spread the word with the hashtag HighDUI. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
KQFN Tempe, also transmitting on K25CDP at 99.3 FM, K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Monday here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He thought parasailing meant just taking a kite, waiting for some wind, and seeing how far it takes you. He doesn't realize you're supposed to have a string at the end of that or a rope. And, well, he's several counties over. So when he finds his way home, he'll be back on the show. I just keep telling him the wind is more powerful than you think, and off he goes. So I'm surprised he's alive, to be honest. He does have some cactus needles in him. He does, he's a little bit banged up, but, he said he's going to wait until the wind changes direction and maybe try to catch a ride back with it. I said that's a bad idea, and you should, maybe get on a bus or catch a ride. And, of course, as you know, Randy White doesn't listen. So who knows where he'll end up next, but hopefully he'll be back soon We got Keon Rose here in the control room. Ralph from Harman Solar. Maybe he'll show up later. Maybe he won't. It's just whatever. Whatever works. Of course, you guys are on the text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Today is National Rescue Dog Day. And I've done my time. I've rescued 2 dogs. And, you don't have to get your dog through a rescue. If you go get your dog at the pound, I count that as a rescue. So, if you've rescued a dog, good for you. If you can rescue a dog rather than buy one, from a puppy mill or from a pet shop, that's even better. Let's go for the underdog, so to speak. So anyway, it's, you know how long they've been rescuing dogs?
No.
Take a guess.
Maybe 150 years. I don't know.
You're very close.
Oh,
Britain's first rescue dog operation started up in 1834. Oh, wait, sorry, 1824. So no, that's 200 years ago. So you were close. Close.
Okay. Not bad.
The Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals was established in Britain to provide welfare services to abandoned dogs. So, I don't know if that's the first time anybody thought about, hey, put a puppy, and took care of it or not, but probably not. But,
maybe the first time anyone ever organized to do it.
The British are good at a few things, and organizing is one of them.
That's true, because it's not cooking food.
Yeah, it's not at all cooking food. 888-368-1580. We're broadcasting live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale, and Donnie is texting.
Surprise.
Time permitting, we might read one of his texts today. Time permitting.
If we get around to
There might be other things happening, but I'm not saying I'm not going to read his text, just time permitting. Just all I'm saying. But I have time for Mr. Wilbur. Says football, 10-3 record, and 11th in the country. Basketball, a men's Pac-12 I'm just really bored with this already. I'm already bored with your U Arizona text, so I'm not reading any more of it, Mr. Wilbur. People want to know U Arizona stats, they can look it up their own damn self. I'm not going to be their hype man with your text.
And also, we just started the show. Who was talking about U Arizona?
0% of people.
Just what? How did we get there?
Nobody was talking about that. Big George says, hello, gentlemen. Hello, George. So George always comes with a thinky wheel.
Well,
he says, hope you had a nice weekend. It was all right. How was your weekend, Keon?
It was a good weekend.
Short, too short.
Short. Watch some basketball.
I feel like they should change our work week to a 4-day weekend. Not a 4-day work week, a 4-day weekend.
4-day weekend.
We'll work 3 days and we get a 4-day weekend.
I'm not opposed to this.
It's what I want. It's not good business. And
you won't make any money in the long term, but
it is really dumb, but I want it.
That first 4 days that you get off, it's going to be the nicest 4 days of your life.
Then you're still going to be pissed off about Tuesday. God damn it, it's Tuesday already. God damn. George, you know what? We're going to talk about basketball here in a minute. But I'm not going to talk about that first. We're going to talk about the Pacers and the Knicks first. We may have time to talk about the other game. I'm not sure. The Jet says, happy Monday, gentlemen. Hello, Jet. How the hell are you? Sometimes I forget they can't answer right back.
Yeah, so then you have to wait.
Yeah. He says, I hope you guys have a great week. Don't put that kind of pressure on us, man. I can't tell you what sort of a week this might be. Okay. And then now you just said, hope you have a great week. Now I got to feel like I got to have a great week. And that just bums me out. Because what if I don't have a great week? I haven't lived up to that expectation. I like to just sort of keep things open.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Big George, sometimes you might have a decent week, and that's all right too.
Big George says, speaking of you, Arizona, why? No, I'm not going to read that, George. I don't know where you're getting that. It's possible, but no, not yet. And no, we're not talking about that. Let's just go ahead and fast forward past all the knuckleheads and get right to the New York Knicks. Okay, by the way, both of the matchups, the Knicks and the Pacers and Timberwolves and Nuggets, went exactly the opposite way that we thought it would. And I'm not even that one game. I mean the series. We thought the Knicks were going to take care of the Pacers, and we thought the Nuggets were going to take care of the Timberwolves, and we were wrong. We were wrong. I mean, you were thinking Knicks all the way.
Well,
and I agreed.
I liked the Knicks, but I didn't think that it was a lock. I thought
nobody said lock, but you were favoring them.
Yeah,
be honest.
Yeah, I just thought if you have a series where the home team has yet to lose a game, and the game 7 is at home for New York, yeah, I'll take those odds. I'm not surprised by that one in the same way I'm surprised by the other one.
When did Jalen Brunson break his hand? Was it in this game or was it in a previous game?
I think he did hurt it in a previous game, but he aggravated it in this game.
And then that was the end of everything. Right there, right?
I mean, that was the end of the Knicks' chances. It's not like the Pacers started losing once Jalen Brunson went out. They were winning the whole time.
Right.
It's just once Jalen Brunson goes out, you're like, all right, there's no chance of a comeback. No, yeah, exactly.
130 to 109. Boy, tell you what, in Madison Square Garden, in front of all the stars, which they put up on the screen there. Some of them I'm going, you're not a star. But yeah, I mean that was a great series. It was a great bunch of basketball, like Tyrese Halliburton putting on his Reggie Wayne choking T-shirt after the game.
The
right
Reggie
there.
Miller, yeah, I like that.
That was a good one. I mean, knowing you had that in your locker just in case. Well, that's a hoodie. Actually, that's printed on a hoodie. Isn't it? That means that was more expensive than having it printed on a T-shirt. He was ready for this at the cost of at least $40 or $50.
Yeah.
But, having it in your locker, I would be like, dude, you trying to jinx this? Are you trying to, what are you doing to it? If I were his teammate and I saw that in his locker, I'd be like, get rid of that thing.
The thing is, basketball doesn't have the superstition that other sports have because you have so much more control over the outcome of a game. Just play well and win. Like it's not a game of chance you're playing. Go out there and kick their ass. Then you get to wear your hoodie.
But if the Pacers had choked and that was found in his locker,
oh yeah, the jokes would be endless.
God,
they'd never stop telling jokes about you. You'd be a meme for the next 2, maybe 3 calendar years.
And I'm sure right now there are a few people happier than Reggie Miller. He's got to be pretty happy about this. But so talk to me about the Pacers and the Knicks, Keon. What happened to the Knicks? I know injuries were part of it, but starting the game, they just kind of got steamrolled pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean the Pacers came out shooting and they were knocking down their threes, and it was kind of everybody involved, all hands on deck. Siakam, I really thought did a lot to get the party started, and then once things got rolling, Tyrese Halliburton kept things going, and I thought he played really, really great defense. I think it does help that you don't have to defend Jalen Brunson the entire game because obviously he's out, but they still played, I think, defense at a level that New York never really got anything going. And I do think that Jalen Brunson is, the head of the snake there for the Knicks. So, once that happened and they built up the lead that they had, once he was out of the game, they didn't really have a way, the Knicks, to get back in it because he's the kind of fire starter. He's able to make shots from all kinds of different places. And I do think that it kind of plays to how the Knicks are maybe a little too Jalen Brunson centric. Like they might need somebody else there to give him a hand.
So looking forward with the Pacers to play in the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. You feel like Boston's got a pretty good go here, or what's the matchup?
I think this is going to be a better matchup than some people realize. Like, there's just people who are just penciling in Boston for the finals. And I'm like, what has Boston done in this postseason to make you believe that they are the unquestioned Eastern Conference representative? They played an injured Miami Heat team round 1, no Jimmy Butler. And then in round 2, they, I guess they're kind of helped with injury a little bit again. So here we are back in the finals. Like, this is going to be a test for them. If the Pacers can stay healthy. They score in a number of different ways. They play really good defense, especially at the perimeter, which is where the Celtics like to beat you. And I'm interested in seeing if someone can stop Boston from shooting the ball deep. Does that change how that team works to the point where they might not actually be doing what they want to do asserting their will on the basketball floor.
Do the Knicks have the kind of defensive ability to shut down the three-pointer?
The Pacers do, yeah.
The Knicks, do they have the ability to shut
the
that
Knicks? The Knicks do as well. Like these are two. I mean, the Pacers and the Knicks have that. Like just their coaches are very defensively minded and very intelligent guys. Tom Thibodeau, I think, is actually I think he might actually be a genius of a defensive head coach in the NBA. He does have a tendency to run his guys into the ground a little bit. He just prefers his starters at all costs. But when it comes to what both of these teams can offer defending the perimeter, I thought that this was going to be a tough series for Boston either way.
888-368-1580. Donnie is still he's still texting in. So I just wish we had time.
If your team hasn't won a game 7 in like 20 some years, you'd be a little fired up too.
I really want to get to his text, but I just hope we have time. Big George says, congratulations to the Indiana Pacers. They have yet again upset the New York Knickerbockers in the playoffs 25 years after Reggie Miller did it. I'd love to see Indiana win its first ever NBA championship. They've won the ABA championship before. Well, about that. So I guess we don't want to look too far ahead of the final four, but Minnesota or Dallas against Indiana or Boston. Does the West still have the upper hand on talent and ability, or does the Pacers or the Celtics have enough to make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting matchup in the finals, no matter which combination of those teams we get. But I think that I think Minnesota's incredibly deep. Like they're just they have the ability to have everybody on the floor going at once, and I think that can overwhelm a team. Indiana's so up and down that if they wind up in a finals, I don't think you can guarantee that they'll win anything. But Dallas is interesting because they've got Kyrie and Luka, and at most times in most games, those are the two best guys on the floor. But then it's kind of just very role player heavy after that. So you can contain Luka or Kyrie, you've got more than a good chance of beating Dallas, but that's easier said than done.
The Jet says, I'm good, Jeffrey. Thank you for asking. Okay. He says, if my records are correct, you guys only work about 3.5 days per week anyway. I'm on board with you guys taking another half day off every week. And I hope you have a great week. Except for Ralph. I hope he has a crappy week.
Man, I'm in this building 6 days a week. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Keon works every day.
What do you mean?
Randy and I, individual results may vary. So, anywho, I guess we have to talk about this other game between Minnesota and the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets, at first, everything looked like it was going to have, as planned. I turned on the TV and I was like, holy crap, they're up by like 20. All right, fine. And I just kind of went about my business, completely forgot about it. I was busy doing other things. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, Denver Nuggets, look at that, 20 points. All right. And then I come back like, what the bleep just happened? So if they came back from a 20-point deficit and won by 98, that means that they had to have scored 28 unanswered points. If you know math, I'm pretty sure my math is correct. That is nuts. That is absolutely nuts. I mean, Minnesota started out pretty slow in the game, and then they didn't. So fill me in here. What the hell happened when I wasn't paying attention?
What happened was Minnesota started rebounding the ball like they were a bunch of damn maniacs, and they had a really, really, I don't know, like they just I think it was a combination of Denver kind of took their foot off the gas and Minnesota never let up. And then when it was time to, get going, because there was a point, I think, in the fourth quarter when there were maybe 2.5 minutes left and Denver was down 10. Mm-hmm. It still looked like they could get things going and finish the game off. And Minnesota just didn't let them. Just flat out got the lead, built up a 10-point lead, and traded buckets with Denver the rest of the way and never really allowed for that Denver response.
How do you have a 15-point halftime lead, Denver, and then end up losing like this? This has actually been said to be the largest comeback in a Game 7 in NBA playoff history.
Yeah, it's incredible. And what makes it crazier to me is that Minnesota didn't just start jacking up a bunch of threes, which happens usually when you're down. You shoot the basketball a lot, and if it starts going for you, Golden State's done this to people many times. They get into these 20-point deficits, and you're like, yeah, this isn't over, because if they start making threes, it's done. That's not what happened in Minnesota. They really started to dominate the glass, give themselves second chance buckets, and they just kept Nikola Jokic and Denver from really working well in the paint, and that they deserve a ton of credit for that.
Well, Jokic said this team was built to beat us. Okay, how do you build back to beat them next time for the Denver Nuggets? What did the Denver Nuggets lack in this series, or lack against the Minnesota Timberwolves specifically, that they can fix?
I think that they might, it's crazy to think, but they might have to get another big to help Jokic. Because when you do have that buy-in from Karl Anthony Towns, and you get that buy-in from Gobert, and those two guys are, especially Towns, because I think he's the one that's the least consistent about playing the game like he's actually 7 feet tall. If he starts doing that, I mean, Minnesota's just big. Like, they are so much bigger that it's just hard for players to get things going down low. I mean, we saw it even when they were playing the Suns. Like, Nurkic just had a lot of trouble in there because you're going up against multiple 7-footers. And we saw even the MVP of the league, it took him 7 games, but even he can't do it every game when you've got those guys and the size that they have. I think Denver might be in a place where getting bigger might be the answer.
So it's kind of hard to believe, because it went to 7 games, and Jokic is talking about how they were built to beat you, but you almost beat them. You almost took care of this. So it wouldn't take a large adjustment, and maybe another big isn't the answer. Maybe some other aspect of it, because in this game, you lost by 8 points. You lost it by 8 points. So
that 20-point lead, I thought, was lost rebounding.
Yeah,
that's the reason why I say
point turnaround. Yeah, then things just went nuts, and I don't know. That's I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, that is about a big. That is about extra bigs, and that's about controlling the defense and the board. So, but you can't. I don't know. I mean, this was not the same game that was played the last game. This was not the same game that was played twice in Minnesota. So, I don't know, maybe another big is an overreaction, but if Jokic believes it, then that's how they beat you.
And it may be an overreaction, but it's not like you have to go out. Like you said, they're already a good team. They were the defending champions, and they lost this series by a total of 8 points in Game 7. So I'm not saying go out and get a big name, just another human being who can effectively operate in that space and help on the glass.
Yeah. Not somebody dopey, but not somebody super expensive.
Yeah. You don't have to sit there and say to yourself, well, boy, let's go get Anthony Davis or something insane like that. Like it could just be as simple as getting just a quality role player that can do that job effectively.
All right, listen, we got to take a break. When we come back, we got more basketball to talk about. And of course, your text, 888-368-1580, Donnie's, time permitting. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable, available where fuel additives are sold.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a walk-off grand slam or a base hit to center field, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem or wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
With the first pick. Now that the draft is in the books, it's that time of the season when the team gets together, you know, to get acquainted. Summer means mini camp, OTAs, then pre-season. Keep yourself tuned to the station with all the insight, updates, and breaking news you need to know about the NFL offseason. If it's the NFL, we talk about it. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Navy Brad is on the text line. Oh man, I missed this. I knew he'd gotten himself a service dog, but like May 13th, he sent a picture of the puppy too. Oh, that's a good dog. Oh, that's a good dog right there. Nice dog. That's a nice looking dog. And what was the Stella? That's right, Stella. He says, "Good afternoon, Blender Nation. Question: why is the new rookie wife receiver for the Cards now being sued?" I didn't know that was position. Wife receiver. Just let that marinate for a second as a typo. The wife receiver.
That's not going to turn into anything crazy at all.
If you're lucky. Anyway, okay, so here's help me out with this, Keon. So Marvin Harrison Jr. III, he decides when he's like, you know what, I don't want to sign up with the Fanatics thing. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to do my own thing. But why is that he wants to do his own thing? What was his issue with signing the same deal everybody else signs?
Yeah, it seems like he wanted to have a setup where he would make a greater portion of the profits on things sold, that he signed.
He's doing his own merch.
Yeah. But I think this is just how I'm interpreting what I read, but it seems like, Marvin Harrison Sr. and Marvin Harrison Jr. kind of reached out to Fanatics to get an idea of what the going rate on things were. Mm-hmm. And so
they're just getting pricing.
Yeah. So they signed an intent to work with Fanatics, which isn't a contract. But Fanatics took that as some kind of binding word to say, hey, we may not have worked out details, but you have agreed to work with us. Well, they tried to back out of it, and they have their website up with all of the stuff that they planned to sell through Fanatics just on their own website. The Harrison Collection LLC is the name of the company there.
Tell you what, why not? But here's the thing. If there's a signature on a piece of paper, there's a difference between an intent and there's a difference between a contract. And the difference is whatever the judge says it is. So basically, this is going to go to court. This is going to go to a judge who's going to decide, no, you're not held responsible by the intent. The intent is just sort of we'll talk. We'll do some stuff. We will get to the point of signing a contract, or we won't. Or people will take that as you have signed the thing saying you absolutely will sign. So I feel like Marvin Harrison Jr. will win this because that's only an intent form. That was not a contract. There were no, you can't sign a contract without, the deal points, without all of the stuff on there, the percentage of this or how much that, or how you can't just sign a piece of paper and say, now we have a deal. That was a deal to make a deal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that what's important to this is the other thing that you can't sign or you can't say without a contract is where else you can and can't sell your.
That wasn't on the intent.
Yeah. So
the intent form was just, hey, we're signing our intention to do business with you. And if you sat down and looked at the contract after signing that form, and either side saw something on there they didn't like, they could say, well, I've decided we're not going to do this. You have the option at that point to decide you're not going to do this. One of the things that the judge might look at is, did they inform Fanatics that even though we've signed this intent, but after looking at your contract and how you do things, we have decided not to do business with you. So that is going to be, did you communicate this or not? The most problem I think Harrison Jr. is going to have is if there's some sort of compensation that he will have to pay to Fanatics for going back on the intent form. Now, unless it's stipulated in the intent form, maybe, probably not. It just depends on if the judge wants to give Fanatics a winner of some kind. But in general, under law, I don't think they've got anything on Harrison Jr. Let's go to an actual lawyer, Big George. Big George should be able to make quick work of this. He says, this Marvin Harrison contract disagreement sounds like a lawyer's wet dream. He says, unfortunately, I don't do contract work. Okay, I get you. But, as a lawyer, do the things I'm saying make sense? Because I do sign contracts. And, when we do certain things, which with unnamed entities, I'm not going to drag names into this, there is an intention form that gets signed and sent. And then after that, then the rest of it's worked out, and then there's a contract. But if we don't want to do the contract, we just don't do the contract. So I feel like, in general, legally, unless the intent form has some sort of binding language on it, and if it does, you're an idiot to sign it. Marvin Harrison and family, they're in the clear.
Yeah. And he hasn't signed with the NFLPA yet. And I think this might also be one of those reasons that this might be a complicating factor, because the partner of the NFLPA is Fanatics. They sell the NFL jerseys and all that other stuff. So yeah, they're getting that stuff sorted out. It's going to take a little bit. And I'm pretty sure that that's what the holdup is on all of that too.
So Big George says, yes, Jeffrey, your analysis is correct. Very similar situations. Thank you, Big George. I appreciate your input. So, all right. The only thing I'm looking at is, man, this is like the beginning. Okay. Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't played a moment of football yet. Okay. And everybody's like, yeah, he's a great wide receiver. He'll be a great wide receiver. But do you want this distraction right now going into your rookie year when you've got a half of a person throwing you the ball and you need to concentrate on being good at that? And, I'm just saying, maybe this is not the hill you want to die on, Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe, I get it. You know what I feel like he's doing? I feel like he's fighting his daddy's fight. I think Marvin Harrison might have more to do with this than Marvin Harrison Jr. because Marvin Harrison has probably, if not himself, seen plenty screwed by the deals they're trying to avoid.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that there's a lot of stuff with this in the NFL in particular, now that we're seeing a lot of the sons of these NFL legends get to be old enough to be in the league themselves. There's a way that these guys move and operate that seems to show they've got advice from someone who's been down this road before. Sure. Even with Shedeur Sanders and Dion, where, the one reason why Shedeur is playing for his dad is, look, I can navigate college in a way that I don't think I'd be able to because my dad's seen all the stuff and he's going to look out for me in a way that maybe another coach might not. So Marvin Harrison Sr. probably seen a lot of the contracts and a lot of the deals that people have made go sideways. And hey, if I can set my son up to be better off, why not?
Well, I hope he's able to insulate Marvin Harrison Jr. from having to worry about any of this. Hell, it's no fun to get sued as a grown-up. Can you imagine? You just got out of college and the first thing you're doing is getting sued. That's a lot of stress. Lawsuits are a lot of stress, even if you win. So, hopefully this is being handled by others and he's being insulated from it so he can concentrate on being great at, football. football. Maybe let's be great at football and not fighting the fanatics. No relation to us, by the way.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of getting drafted and having fatherly advice, Bronny James, I tell you what, this kid, 5 points a game, Bronny, can't believe all the hubbub about this kid. I get it. He's LeBron's son. Understand, 100%. And someday he might be a competent basketball player. And, like Keon says, he has elite defense, just maybe needs to find his shot to be at least a good player in the NBA. He will not be his dad. Everybody needs to let go of that. He will not be his dad. But people are really dumb. People are stupid as hell. People are morons. How do you know people are morons? Take a look at what is happening at the Las Vegas books. Keon brought this to my attention today, and I about pooped myself. Right now, tied for the most bets for the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft, Bronny James, who is nowhere even in the top 20.
He's not going in the
or
first
even
round.
The first day.
Oh, and look, the NBA draft is not like the NFL draft. There are only 2 rounds. So when I say he's going to be a second rounder,
that's being generous.
That's near the end of the draft.
He might not be a second rounder. He might do undrafted.
The way that the scouts are talking about him, it seems more likely than not that he will get drafted.
Just because the LeBron name and the ticket sales?
Well, that and the way what he showed at the combine, which was the movement ability and the fact that they had the combine scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
He led all scorers in the game.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'm not trying to take anything away from Bronny. I am just stating what we have seen as fact. Yeah. 5 points a game, Bronny. Really great at defense. But if he's improving, hell yeah, good for him. That gets him in the second day.
Yeah. And get it's being in the second round, like a lot of second round players wash out. Like you're not guaranteed to even be on a roster if you're drafted as a second rounder. So,
but that doesn't mean you have a shot at being Bronny James at being the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. And there are a lot of people betting that he will be. Tied for the most bets for number 1 overall pick is Bronny James. That's a lot of damn dumb money just being thrown at Vegas. Like, here's a gift for you. How much money have they figured? As of Monday, 22.5% of all bets at MGM on the number 1 overall pick were for him. I don't know what that translates into dollars, but it's dumb money, like probably a crap ton. And of course, BetMGM's like, yeah, you should make the bet. Yeah, you should make that bet. No. Don't listen to your friends. This is no. Go ahead. No, we're not. I think there should be a wellness check on anybody who makes this bet. That anybody who makes this bet shouldn't be allowed to bet for a week. You should just have all of your privileges revoked for a week from making a bet that Bronny would be nobody's taking him number 1.
No.
Why?
And like
200 to 1 odds that he might as well be 2 million to 1. He's not getting picked.
It's not happening.
Nothing new has happened.
He's not a first rounder. Therefore, he's not the number 1 overall pick. I don't understand what people are thinking when they're making these bets. Maybe they just see the name recognition. But look at any 3 mock drafts, Bronny's not on the first page.
And listen, you chuckleheads, LeBron James has already said he's not switching teams to join Bronny where he plays. The Lakers are not, they don't have the number 1 pick anyway. So who's got the number 1 pick? I forgot. Who's got it?
I believe that is the Rockets.
The Rockets.
Or sorry, Atlanta.
Okay. So the Atlanta Hawks are not taking him number 1.
No.
And LeBron's not coming. So whatever your rationale, your thinking, your reason for taking Bronny, well, I really like those odds. That's some value. There's no value if it ain't ever gonna happen.
Yeah,
you are dumb as the day is long if you make a bet on Bronny James to be the number 1 pick.
It's just the other thing that I think that's also kind of insane about this is like I don't know what people's process is when it comes to making some of these bets. Like just doing a quick Google search.
Historically bad draft class, Keon, so they might make a decision. Imagine
it is.
He's so good at defense,
but he's still not one of the top 15, 20, 25 players in the class. As bad as it is.
I can't wait to find out how much money throw this money at just a lottery ticket. You have more of a chance of winning that than winning with Bronny James being taken first in the draft. Simple.
I mean, yeah, if
you're just throwing money away.
If Atlanta went out and drafted Bronny James with the number 1 overall pick, they should just fire their general manager before the draft is even over. Because you're crazy. In fact, if you get the idea that he's even thinking about it, just fire him before he makes the pick.
Yeah, don't let him get to that. Don't let him get to that envelope that write the thing. Don't do it.
It's crazy.
Big George says, "Hey, Keon, you think the Washington Wizards should draft Bronny James with the number 2 overall pick
in the 2nd round?"
He says, "I say go for it." No, he says number 2 overall.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm correcting him. They have 2 second-round picks. I believe they have the 2nd pick in the 2nd round. That's where they should draft him if they like him.
And that is what Keon is telling you, subtly or not subtly, that there aren't any players worth a crap in the 2nd round.
It's not
because there's no second guy. You get 2 picks. You get your first pick and you get your second pick. And the second pick, if he says, take Bronny, that means in the 2nd round, there's nobody really worth taking.
I don't know that that's true, but
then why would you say go ahead and take him?
Because he's not a 1st round talent. That's all.
Well, I know, but is he really the 2nd round talent your team wants and or needs?
I mean, I think if you draft a guy that you can work on as a project for him, that would be his offense and his scoring, but that has that defensive ability already, he could be playing on your team and mattering in a couple of years, just not this year. And that's fine. Like I don't expect every person drafted in the 2nd round of the draft. Again, there are only 2 to show up and be day 1 impact guys. You draft the guy in the 2nd round because of what he might become in the future. Jokic was a 2nd rounder. Like the Draymond Green was a 2nd rounder. Like you can find talented people there, but you have to work on them.
Sure. Fifth letter, who's looking at what I'm saying now and deciding to fade me on this advice. Bet placed $1 on Bronny getting picked number 1 overall. Thanks, fellas. You should have doubled that money and bought a lottery ticket. You would have better odds.
You would have better odds. I find any 5 mock drafts from reputable places and find where Bronny is in round 1. You won't. I've read them all. You won't.
Leave it to a Laker fan to make a dumbass bet like that.
Hey, if you want to help make Vegas richer, they got to fund those big buildings out in that Nevada desert.
I ain't giving my money away to Vegas.
You go ahead and do that.
Hell no on that. All right, we got to take a break. We come back. Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns' new coach. We'll got some other basketball things to talk about, as well as it may as well be the wheel of sports, because I've got a vast and wide variety of sports crap to talk about. Ooh, sports crap. That could be a name of a new show. Sports crap.
Sports crap.
Sports crap with so-and-so. Maybe we just need a new host for that. Or I could just quietly change the Weekend Warriors to sports crap.
Sports crap with Ralph and Neil.
I actually like that. I'm not even kidding. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
You can host the best backyard barbecue. You find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher, and I am with the one and only Josh Garcia with the Miracle Mile Deli, who are celebrating something that's pretty unique. 75 years in business. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Mark. Thank you. The Miracle Mile family would like to thank you and the hundreds of thousands of people that have visited Miracle Mile Deli since our family restaurant started here in the Valley in 1949. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve generations of families across the Valley over the last 7 decades. And we are extremely grateful to be celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2024. We cordially invite you to visit our Phoenix location on 16th Street in Campbell to celebrate our 75th anniversary throughout the year. We consider ourselves so lucky to be able to be a part of the Valley community and know that we wouldn't be here without our loyal Miracle Mile patrons and team members. So from our family to yours, thank you for allowing us to serve you over the last 75 years. And we look forward to continuing the Miracle Mile tradition with you for many more years to come. For more information, visit miraclemiledeli.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
Memorial Day deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, save big on Scott's Naturescapes mulch. Get 5 bags for just $10. And there's more. Get up to 40% off. Plus, save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances. These deals are selling fast, so start shopping now. Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 5/29. Mulch excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Appliance savings vary based on purchase. See Lowe's.com for details. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
1580 The Fanatic. And at 1580thefanatic.com. Your home for sports.
Today, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. So, of course, my stupid text line is bogging a little bit. So if I'm slow getting to your stuff, I apologize. I don't know what happens. We get a new program. It works great for a while. Then all of a sudden, I think it's just we overload it. I don't think there is a text program out there that can handle the amount of volume that we do on this show. So please accept my apologies if I'm not getting right to your text, except for you, Donnie. I'm just letting that wait. I mean, when we have time for you, Bear Claw says, should a golf major really be played at a pitch and putt golf course? Amazing. What are you talking about? What is he talking about? Is he talking about Valhalla? Is he calling Valhalla a pitch and putt golf course? A lot of people say that is one of the most thrilling places to see golf happen because some competitive finishes and all that. Is everybody always says good things about Valhalla. So not sure what he's talking about.
Maybe I'm just not deep enough into golf things, but just totally the way that they were talking about Valhalla this weekend, they were saying that it was one of the great golf courses in U.S. history. So I'm a little confused by that. If Valhalla is what you're talking about,
are you just talking out of your crap cave, Bear Claw? Because I don't know what you're talking about. I do know that the guy I predicted, the Shuffles, that's right, Shuffle won. Xander Shuffle, Shoffley, Shuffle, whatever you call him. But that's his first major. Everybody always says, oh, he's really great, but he's never won a major. Well, now he has finally got that thing figured out. And old Scheffler, well, I don't know if he ever fully mentally recovered from his incident, whether self-inflicted or not. So he was looking great. So then they just switched places. Because remember how I always bet on Shoffley and Scheffler at the same time? And that has paid off for me in the past handsomely. Like I won a lot of money betting on the Shuffles, Scheffler, Shuffle, whatever. Yeah, they're the same guy if you ask me. I couldn't pick him out of the lineup. I don't know anything about golf. But congratulations to Shoffley, Stouffer's souffle. What is his name?
Xander Shoffley.
Sure. I did see a bunch of guys stand there with their shirts off with the letters, spelling out Xander painted on them. Like, wow.
It's one thing to do it for a team. It feels weird to do it for an individual person.
A guy.
That does seem.
There's a guy that you. All right.
It's just
Bear Claw says, listen, the winner won at 21 under. How hard can it be at 21 under? I feel like you and I would have a shot Bear Claw at 21 under. If that's of course he's a professional golfer.
That's the thing.
You're not.
And there are a lot of sports like this. I think that we watch them all the time, and these guys make the thing look so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like to win this tournament, or to even have a chance to win this tournament, you had to shoot 60 every day. That's why Scotty Scheffler didn't win. He shot 73, which, by the way, is really good. But that was enough for him to be an 8th. He shot 60 every other day and didn't win. Just we've created golf courses where we've prioritized having range, having length in your game over some of the other things, and so these guys have matched that.
Yes,
and
we celebrate length rather than girth. Well known. It's well known.
I mean, they're just bombing some of these courses.
So Scheffel, here's what they say: recorded the lowest 72-hole score to par and the lowest 72-hole scoring total in a major championship, which was 263 for the total count for him. So he just had an amazing weekend of golf, Bear Claw. It doesn't mean it's an easy course. I mean, I don't know. If you start to go down and look at some of, like, if you go down 20 guys and see what their scores were, if they were anywhere close to that, then I'd say Bear Claw might have something. Maybe this is an easy course.
Like the guys in the 20s were like at 10 under.
No, that's still pretty good. Pretty good under.
That's pretty good. But I just think that, like, the way that they've adapted these courses, it's to try and challenge your strength and your ability to hit the ball long distances. And then the guys got good at it, and somehow we're mad at them for getting
maybe
good
Bear
at
Claw has a point. Maybe they need to toughen this course up a little bit. But it doesn't matter. It's the same course for everybody, Bear Claw. So they're all pros playing.
If you can go out there and shoot mid 60s every day, then that'll mean something to me. But like, I'm watching the best in the world actually be the best in the world. And maybe again, I'm not the biggest golf guy. I watch sometimes. I watch the majors. But when I watch the best in the world being the best in the world, like, that's what I showed up for. So I don't. It didn't look like it was simple for them.
Well, he may have a point that maybe the course is easier than it should be for these pros.
But that's all. They've had other courses where guys score in the 20s. The U.S. Open, I think a couple years ago was like that. I don't know. What I'm saying is, I don't know how much harder you can make the course.
All right, PGA, you got to take a page from the Major League Baseball book. You got to change the balls. You got to change the balls. You got to do something.
Yeah, this is kind of Tiger's fault, because they were Tiger proofing the courses to try and make it harder for him, and they did that with distance. So then Tiger got stronger, and then everybody else trying to keep up, they got stronger too.
But that broke Tiger though.
It broke Tiger, but I think a lot of other things broke Tiger too. Like just
his penis,
that, and the just random military training he started to do in the middle of his career.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That broke him trying to drive farther.
But he didn't do that to drive farther. He did that after his dad died, and it was just kind of like this
midlife crisis.
Yeah, it was. Like, it's in the Tiger documentary. It's really good. And
I've never had a midlife crisis. My whole life has been a crisis. I don't.
Well, then that's why.
I don't feel like it's even necessary.
Usually the people who have a midlife crisis have it really easy, and then all of a sudden they lose their bearings on stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been under near damn constant stress, so I guess I will never have a midlife crisis.
You don't need one. It'd be redundant.
No. Okay. Walter Mellon says, Jeffrey, for the text machine, did you clear your cache? Yeah, they always say that. And you're probably right, Walter Mellon. You probably need to. He said, did you try unplugging it for 10 seconds and restarting it? Well, it's all HTML based, so I can't unplug their servers and plug them back in. He says, lastly, if you delete your chat, does it clean it up? Outside of that, you need to call IT. I appreciate that you thought I was asking for advice. All good advice, but I know the drill, man. I know the drill. And the only thing I haven't done, I'll admit it, haven't cleared the cache, but I've done it before, and it doesn't work. It doesn't really help. So I think this is all on the server end, not on the user end. I could send them a note. Hey guys, could you turn it on and off again? But I don't know if they'd do it for me.
Yeah, just for One person, probably not.
Then they'll look into our account and go, Jesus, what are they doing? And then throw us out. That's possible. You never know. They're like, you guys aren't paying for this, this kind of volume. But I will clear my cache. That's a good idea, Walter. Robert from Surprise says the technology of his golf clubs have come a long way.
That too.
Baker's cocky. Oh wait, he says Robert says I just shot a plus 30 at Wickenburg Ranch Saturday, and that was only 18 holes. Minus 21. That is amazing. Well, you heard it was an easy course, so don't be that impressed.
I was watching the course. I just thought those guys were making amazing shots, but what do I know?
Baker's Cocky Hens has an amazing idea. I like this idea. I support this idea. I absolutely 100% agree with Baker's Cocky Hens. You want to make this harder, he says? Just put alligators on the course. Force them to play the ball where it lies. Every time. I like it. I like it.
You're going to end up with different results, though.
In memory of Carl Weathers. I love that idea. Big George says, would it help if I completely change my phone number to get rid of the thinky wheel? Well, I think for if you were to change your number and then I'd have a different thing and I could delete. I don't know if I can delete everything. Remember we tried that and it didn't work. It might work. Yeah. It might work for you. I don't know if it's going to help everybody else. That's a good point, George. But I mean, how long have you had your phone number? I've had my phone number since the first cell phone I ever had. I have had this phone number. When did I get a cell phone? 2000? 1999? I can't remember when I got my first StarTAC flip phone. I've had this number for about 25 years. The one I have right now.
I got my first cell phone when I was 17. And I've had that same number. So, yeah.
So that's a good question for the text line. I am just kind of curious. How long have you had your current phone number? And is it the first number you ever had? I know a lot of people have changed numbers because they're like, I'm getting tired of all these damn spam calls. Or I'm getting tired of my ex-girlfriends knowing this number. And I had some phone pranks gone wrong. I had to change my number.
Which is a thing.
Oh, crap. I'm in collections. Well, we're changing the number, you know. There's many different reasons you change your number. Just kind of curious. Nobody could have a phone number longer than when the first cell phones came out. So I feel pretty proud they've had mine 25 years.
Yeah.
There's people who probably had it. When did cell phones start becoming really popular? It was in the mid 90s, right? Because I used to have a pager. I had a pager. I was not a drug dealer. I had a pager for work. And, so I wasn't in a hurry to get a cell phone because they were very expensive when they first started.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents are both nurses and they had pagers. So anytime they were going to get called in, you see the pager lighting up. Yeah.
And then you try to send people little codes like boobies. Rough Rob says they need a tough course, for the professionals, like the one I played with fighter jets doing touch and goes while you're out there shooting. Wait, what? Where was that, Rough Rob? Where did you play a course where fighter jets were doing touch and goes while you're shooting?
And also that you can see why that for just a TV audience would be absolutely horrific if you had fighter jets overhead.
No, that'd be amazing.
I mean, at first, but
you're the cameraman, director, go wide 13. That'd be awesome.
Yes. For the first couple of hours, for 4 days of it.
Yes, 4 days.
Okay.
Golf plus fighter jets. What are you, nuts?
Okay. I just think that just the sound of the jets, if you're trying to watch the golf.
Yeah, but it's real. It's not like piped in fake bird noises like CBS does. Let's do this real. And you hear the golfer go, "Oh, son of a bitch." I mean, oh my God, the ratings. Rough Rob says that was at Pax River, Maryland. Good God, play that all you can. I love that so much. I don't even golf. Maybe I changed my opinion.
You change your mind
once
now.
I learned. Booze and Raider says he's had the same number since forever, like 2001. Oh, okay. I've had mine longer than you.
That's still a
Average Joe
nice long run there.
says I'm still using the same number I got when I got my first phone in 1999. I think I might have got mine in 99 too. I got to go back and look. Big George says, you remember JJ, the king of beepers? Yes, I did not use a JJ king of beepers beeper. Robert from Surprise says, I got 2 phones. Okay, so you're a drug dealer. He says, yeah, 18 years on one, on the work one, and 10 on the personal. NFL Blitzer, same phone since 2005. Not bad. All right, hour 2 is next. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-238-7071. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-238-7071. 800-238-7071. 800-238-7071.
Not available in all states. Individual results will vary. Program qualification required.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher, and I am with the one and only Josh Garcia with the Miracle Mile Deli, who are celebrating something that's pretty unique. 75 years in business. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Mark. Thank you. The Miracle Mile family would like to thank you and the hundreds of thousands of people that have visited Miracle Mile Deli since our family restaurant started here in the Valley in 1949. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve generations of families across the Valley over the last 7 decades. We are extremely grateful to be celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2024. We cordially invite you to visit our Phoenix location on 16th Street in Campbell to celebrate our 75th anniversary throughout the year. We consider ourselves so lucky to be able to be a part of the Valley community and know that we wouldn't be here without our loyal Miracle Mile patrons and team members. So from our family to yours, thank you for allowing us to serve you over the last 75 years. And we look forward to continuing the Miracle Mile tradition with you for many more years to come. For more information, visit miraclemiledeli.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. And look at you, hands perfectly placed on the wheel, not like the driver to the right of you who's really going after that drum solo. Save with DriveWise in the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Celebrating 30 years of AmeriCorps looks like building lifetime change makers in Arizona communities. From serving children alongside First Things First to Executive Director of Prevent Child Abuse Arizona. From the Pinal County Sheriff's Office to the Governor's Office, serving with AmeriCorps today creates limitless potential for every new member to lead Arizona tomorrow. Where will AmeriCorps take you? Join the movement by signing up at serve.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family.
Live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. This is KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
Quiet, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow or the next day or the day after that. Right now, we got Keon Rhodes in the control room. You guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. And Big George. Ralph from Harmon Solar might join us at some point in the show. We don't know. You guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, broadcasting live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And I can't believe we talked as much golf as we just did. That was really stunning to me. That was very surprising. And I still have got to learn how to golf. Do you know how to golf? Do you know how to golf?
I don't know.
No.
No.
You've never golfed?
Mm-mm.
You ever go to Top Golf and swing at the ball and play some of them games? Driving range thing?
I will eventually, but I have not done that. And the Top Golf in Chattanooga had one level. So it was just a driving range. It was just a very expensive driving range.
Right.
Which I could just go to any other driving range. So I didn't.
It's more than just a driving range, though. Whether it has one level or not, it has targets and it's computer monitored and all that. I went with my kids last summer and I whooped them all. So I know I have some natural ability. I have natural ability, but I haven't tried it for real. But Randy says he found a place where it's air conditioned and we can go learn how to golf. I can go learn how to golf. He knows how to golf. So you can join us if you want to learn how to golf.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm guessing it's going to cost something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope it's not too expensive to learn how to golf. Because a lot of business gets done out there on the golf course. You know what I mean? A lot of business, networking, the kind of stuff I've really never ever bothered to do. And I feel my career may have suffered for it. And you're saying, well, Jeffrey, how do you know? I'm right here. That's why. That should be all the evidence needed to convict. So I got to learn how to golf, man.
Yeah.
What if somebody ever asked me to be I've been asked, actually, no, in the past, to be in people's golf tournaments. And I must decline unless it's preceded by the word mini. I must decline.
Right.
So someday I need to learn how to go. I just hope it's not like too late, because there's a couple of things here that matter. One, if I wait until I'm retired, then that means that I'm going to be going through this learning to golf with my wife. My wife is a direct descendant, a relative of Seve Ballesteros. Yes, that's Seve Ballesteros. She is naturally good at golf. So I'm going to be on the ladies' tee, if you know what I mean, in my old age, trying to keep up with my wife playing golf. So I kind of now is sort of my time.
This is the window.
Yeah. To learn how to golf. And then later on, I don't need to be better than her. I just need to be comparable. So I don't feel emasculated,
Yeah. Like if it's close, then you're, yeah.
She's got it in the bloodline. I'm going to have to pay a lot of money to even come close to not humiliating myself. And then people say, hey, come golfing with us anyway. Like, you know what? I'll be the guy that slows everybody down. I don't want to be that guy pissing off everybody behind us. I am that guy who will fight his way out of a bar or, whatever. But I don't want to get into a fight on the golf course when I know I'm wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And slowing guys down, a couple of idiot drunks behind you. Get out of here, I'll kick your ass. I'd like to see you try. And all of a sudden, I'm in a fight, and the entire time, I'm beating somebody's ass. But in my head, going, I'm really wrong here.
I'm just deeply incorrect. I could have been going faster.
Yeah,
I just don't know what I'm doing. I just don't know what I'm doing.
It won't save this poor drunk bastard the beating, because I am Irish and accomplished at giving the beating. But inside, I'm not going to feel great about it. And then, I like to feel good about it when I beat somebody's ass. So, yeah, I until I know what I'm doing, till I can keep it moving, until I'm not embarrassing myself or my family, no, thank you. I got to go learn. Got to do better. That's the same thing on the freeway. You're driving along. I don't want to get in anyone's way. If somebody, so if you're not going to go fast as everybody else, get the hell out of the way. And that's how you stay safe. No road rage ever came from getting out of somebody's way.
Yeah.
Somebody comes up behind you. You're like, I'm going the speed limit on this freeway. By God, I don't care what you think. Well, that's how people get killed. Get the hell out of the way. Let them go have their accident in front of you. The best place for idiots and drunks? It's in front of you, not behind you. behind you, they'll crash into you. Drunks and idiots alike. So I'm just saying, get out of the way. Same thing on the golf course. Get out of the way. Don't be in people's way. Don't ruin a good afternoon for somebody else. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Now, if there is an educational golf course where everybody's an idiot, I'm in, as long as it's not hot outside.
Yeah, that's the golf course I would like.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to learn how to golf when Randy decides to teach me, you can come. Mr. Wilbur says, Big Ralph is something you do after like 12 shots of Jaeger. You are correct. You are correct. Brunswick guy says, if you're going to do a blender day at Top Golf, I'll fly down from Canada for that. See, I think a blender day at a Top Golf wouldn't be bad. Just do a remote broadcast from the Top Golf. Just have some fun, go at it for a couple hours and see who does what. I like, actually, for all the ideas, that's not a bad one right there. Just get somebody to
potentially organize that, and
somebody has to make a phone call. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe.
It's going to be a minute, Brunswick guy, but I like your idea. 888-368-1580. Oh, by the way, remember that detective guy, the police officer who drugged Scotty Scheffler out of the car and then arrested him because of what happened there? Wow. Huh. Not going to say, but I'm going to say, why was your body camera off? Whenever an officer is wearing a body cam and that body cam is mysteriously not turned on, I'm a little curious, a little suspicious.
It's not proof that they're wrong, but it is a little odd.
Which could work well for Scheffler, because Scheffler, now it's this word against word, and witnesses will have to back up the police officer or Scheffler. So does this benefit the truth or not? It might benefit a liar more than it benefits the truth. What would have been great was just having the camera on. Why wear the camera if it's not on? The person involved was a detective, which means he was stepping into a situation maybe he doesn't normally work. So you say, well, that's maybe how the camera was. Oops, I thought I had it on. It wasn't on. I don't do this all the time. But there's just a lot of, that's hinky as hell. That's hinky. I don't know. If there's any policemen listening, and let's say you're a detective, you let me know if this is normal or not normal. The guy goes out with a body cam. He has the camera on, so it must have been issued to him for a reason, or whatever. Maybe it was in the vest. Maybe it was some sort of, I don't know. This is kind of suspicious when a body cam is turned off. That's all I'm saying. But then again, I'm not a police officer. It's not my job to turn a body cam on or off. Yeah. I don't know what it entails.
Like, if I'm going to be generous to the detective, for instance, if you're working a case that you're not sure exactly what the events are, or if the death is suspicious, and so you're looking through the evidence, maybe you don't want the camera picking all of that up, potentially, and so you turn it off. But that's me trying to maybe extend the benefit of the doubt there.
They did find footage from a fixed camera from across the street. Now, that's not going to give you as clear a look at what happened during that incident than a body camera with a microphone might have. But I guess we'll see what we see. How big a deal are they going to make out of this when everybody cools down a little bit? I don't know.
I don't know, but I do think Scotty Scheffler did help himself by not going scorched earth. I mean, he tried to go out of his way to compliment the police as often as he did in that entire process. So
that's just standards you speak, though, and could have been coached by his lawyer.
Could have been, but I do think that there are people who have the personalities that would make that worse. And I'm not saying that it means anything in the long run, just that, when it comes to if there's a position where they can press charges against him or what have you, he's setting himself up to make that less likely by not being absolutely flagrant about everything.
I'm looking forward to hearing the explanation on the charges. He was charged with second-degree assault of a police officer, How did he assault him?
When
the officer grabbed the car and got drugged?
Yes.
Feels like that's a self-inflicted wound right there. So I don't know if I would let that stand on Scheffler. Third degree criminal mischief. If he was intentionally not listening and whatever, okay, maybe mischief. Reckless driving, okay, maybe. Disregarding traffic signals, fair enough.
Yeah.
Disregarding an officer directing traffic, fair enough. I just don't know about that assault one. The assault one is the cop if you grab a hold of a moving vehicle, you dope. What do you think is going to happen? So that was not, I don't believe that was assault. Now, our friend George, it was former prosecutor. Maybe he'll hear that differently. I don't know. We got a text from a police officer. All right. So I'm not going to read any of his phone number in case he wants to not, have any part of his identity known. So I'll just do that out of respect. But the police officer says body cams do malfunction often, but for the most part, they do work well. If this detective was working in an off-duty capacity, working traffic control at the PGA Championship, you wouldn't necessarily need to be wearing the body camera. Right. But if he was called in as part of a fatal accident incident, would he then need to turn that on? Or is it still at that point, the guy's dead, it's not relevant, and he's still just a guy who was, I think he was on duty. But does that also, officer, does that impact his situation? Meaning he's an off-duty officer. So can you still say he was disregarding traffic signals from an officer directing traffic if at that moment he was off duty? I'm just asking. I don't know. And listen, there's a good chance this cop absolutely in the right. Scheffler being an a-hole, not off the table. Not off the table at all. But it always is a little bit, when the body cams are in a situation like this, suddenly not on. But I hear you. Although it was a conflicting statement, body cams do malfunction often, but for the most part, they work well. But you just said they malfunction often. So what would you give it percentage-wise? Malfunctioning versus just working fine. It's like this radio station. It malfunctions often, but for the most part, works well.
Like I'm trying to understand what he's saying. I think I'm understanding it as when they malfunction, it's just you've got nothing.
Right. Click. Boom.
But when they're on and functioning, they're clear. Right. You get the audio, you get the video, and all that.
So how much of the time do you feel like they work naturally? Because then again, there's the issue. It was off. It wasn't broken. It was just off. So how often are these body cams, malfunctioning? And how often are they working? Percentage of time maybe would help. But listen, it's great to know there's a police officer out there listening, because I've always had cops in the audience, detectives as well as police officers, and it's always fun when I get to meet one. I know there's past guys who have come to our remotes and been like, "Hey, dude," and they're like almost giddy. I'm a police officer. I'm like, oh, crap. You should have told me that before many of the things I just said. And then there's people that'll, like this guy right here, or gal, could be gal, I don't know, who texts in. So I appreciate it. Thanks, man. I tell you what these guys and gals do, that ain't easy. That is not an easy job. And, I'm going to hope you're one of the good ones. So thanks for listening. 888-368-1580. So, all right, let's move on. And do we have time for a Donnie text? No, we don't. All right, let's talk about the Phoenix Suns' new coach, Mike Budenholzer. That's how you have to say it, by the way. That's the actual official way of saying it. Mike Budenholzer.
I don't know if I can do that. Actually,
try it. Mike Budenholzer.
Mike Budenholzer.
That's actually really good, Keon.
Okay,
nicely done.
Did better than I thought.
Okay, hold on a second. Before we get into talking about the Phoenix Suns' new head coach, the police officer sent another text, which I want to make sure gets read. The officer says, it all depends on if the detective was wearing a clearly marked police uniform. If he was in street clothes, which they sometimes are, then that is on the officer, and the driver would not be at fault for ignoring his traffic control directions. if I had to guess, body cameras work about 95% of the time. 1 in 20 times does it malfunction for various reasons, battery issues, storage issues. So it's not unheard of, but it is uncommon. So for this detective, and I'd even give you an added thing here where I'd say maybe he just wasn't used to wearing that vest, so didn't even bother to turn it on because his capacity out there, maybe he didn't feel like he needed it.
Yeah.
And that's just a guess. I don't know what I'm talking about.
And I tried to say this the other day with Scheffler going past it. If he was in street clothes, that it's possible Scotty Scheffler just did not believe that he was a cop and drove right past him. Like maybe, okay, security, maybe. Not saying that makes it okay to ignore a security person, but that it's possible that you didn't understand that you were disregarding a cop, which changes your math on that.
I thought I'd heard that this guy was wearing a reflective vest. May not have been an official police vest, but a reflective vest. And if that is the case, that does sort of lend itself towards, unless it says police on it, it's an official reflective vest. It does sort of lean itself towards off-duty police officer doing the job for the PGA or for the Valhalla. So
yeah.
I guess there's a lot of stuff we got to find out.
There's a little gray area.
Yeah. But thank you again, officer, for filling us in on these things and helping us more intelligently try to understand this. I guess it all goes down to we'll see. I think it'll be an interest. It's nobody got hurt, so it's fun. It'll be fun to see how this all goes down. I mean, outside of the guy who was dead, like over there. But no, I'm talking about this incident. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. All right, back to Budenholzer. So Budenholzer, he came out there and he gave his little speech. Did you see his speech? Did you see his
I actually
introductory
didn't get to see it. I'm normally on top of that. I didn't get to see it.
So here's Budenholzer. He came out and said, "Erdy dink the dirty biggest erdy, I can translate. Don't worry. I can speak the Swedish. He says, I think the biggest message I want you to hear, like I would coach this team if it was on the moon. Sorry, what? He says, I would coach this team if it was in Alaska. If these players were in Denmark, these owners in front office, I'd go anywhere to coach this team. Dude, you were only out of work a year. Calm down.
Yeah, and you already got the job. You don't have to impress anybody anymore. You've got it. All right. Just say you want to win a championship and you're going to try your best to do that. We don't need all the extra stuff there.
That sounds a little bit crazy.
We don't need to be impressed by on the moon. Okay. Well,
3-pointers would be amazing on the moon.
Oh yeah.
So Mike Budenholzer, he grew up in Holbrook, evidently, and listened to Al McCoy from a distance, calling all the Suns games. So it was great to see Al McCoy there at that press conference, getting out of the house because he's retired now.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, let's go back to Budenholzer getting ready. I mean, he was the Bucks head coach. Why'd they fire him? Feel like he was there when they won stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't he there when they won stuff?
They won their title, and then they just struggled to get out of the second round the next couple of years, and Budenholzer got the axe.
Didn't they win the championship with him there?
Yep. Mm-hmm. They just
real recently.
They just
and then they just fired him.
They just wanted to go back, and they wanted to try and do something to get over the hump. When you've got a really good team, coaching matters a whole lot more, and the margins were really thin there, so they took a chance on trying to go a different direction.
No, it didn't work.
No, they went with Adrian Griffin, who they fired 2 months into the season.
Yeah, that was a bad move.
And then they hired Doc Rivers, who we didn't even get to blame because they had so many injuries that they ended up.
And that was all last year, right? So, but Budenholzer, he was only out for a season. Why didn't somebody pick him up before this? How did we get so lucky?
I think part of it is when the Suns got eliminated from the playoffs, I think they got the ability to.
We are lucky, right?
Do the coaching search early. Well, that and like that. Yeah, I mean, like there are teams right now that if you were a bad team and you missed the playoffs, you've already got your coaching situation figured out. You know what your plan on that is going to be, and if you're still in the playoffs, you can't hire a coach. So, the Suns got eliminated and made a very quick decision on Vogel. And that quick decision, I think, opened themselves up to be able to make a move on some other coaches before other people got the chance.
So somebody just get a word to Budenholzer. Stop talking. You're coming in with a great resume. Please don't say crazy things. Just go coach the team. Go take care of business. Don't be talking about the moon.
As long as the wins are coming in, I don't think people are going to care much about what Budenholzer has to say.
We shall see.
Crazy or not.
We shall see. Baker's Cocky Hen says, rumor is Scheffler was blaring the radio with NWA as he dragged the officer. I do not believe that rumor for
I doubt
a couple
this.
of different reasons. Quiet Cannon says, if I'm Scotty Scheffler, I'm going to ask the prosecution, when was that officer trained in traffic control and then certified to direct traffic? Well, it's a good point. But as a detective, I'm sure he went through the academy like everybody else. And then nobody gets out of the academy immediately a detective. So I would imagine it's been something that they've all been taught. I mean, our officer friend, by the way, I don't want to use any of their number to say so-and-so. So I'll just say officer. We would love for you to have a text or nickname and be a part of the show, man. We got doctors and lawyers, and it would be great to have the occasional input from an actual police officer. Anyways, what was I saying?
I kind of lost the train of thought there.
You weren't even listening.
I was.
You treat me like a wife. You just just sort of like, dear God, please don't let him ask me a question.
No, we were talking about Scotty Scheffler, and then you asked the officer to join in on the text line, and I just lost the track of where we were before that.
No, I think it was just about, when do they get trained for that sort of thing? I think probably at the beginning. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got so many different sports things to talk about. It's all over the place. Like Steve Keim trying to drive down the road. You know what I'm saying? It's all over the place. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guys in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Today's Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Okay, I gotta have a conversation with the people who do stuff. I know that the listeners love these super duper short commercial breaks but I just sat my ass down for like 30 seconds and all of a sudden I'm back on the air. You know, I need recovery time. I need rest and recover. I need recovery drink. I need something. So I don't know what's going on. Somebody has put the wrong numbers in a computer. That's all I can think. That's all I can think. I'd like to see this get fixed. I'm not looking for people to tune away and turn the channel from too long. But
like a normal amount.
It's called a break for a reason. I need a break. How often are you supposed to get a 15-minute break when you're doing a regular job?
Well, I don't
think it's hourly, is it?
No, it's like every, what is it, for every 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah,
Like
that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I feel like I'm getting more breaks than most people, so I'll be quiet now. 888-368-1580. Ringless Joe says he's very happy that the Knicks and the Nuggets got eliminated, especially the Nuggets. Micah Malone is such an unlikable asshat. Denver fans were getting uppity, acting like they'd already won back-to-back rings. Yeah, I heard Michael Malone said a few things. He got a little bit cranky.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem that different from every other NBA coach that I've ever seen. Like they all get a little cranky, and losing sucks. And you put a lot of time and energy into these.
He's right, though. The reporters say dumb things.
Yeah, and like he's not the first coach to point it out. I don't know. Like I just think that if you go back and look at some of the things Phil Jackson has said in the past, or other great basketball coaches, Greg Popovich, you could have said that person's an insufferable asshat. But really,
you know what?
Are they?
So I'm thinking about the reporter sitting there asking a question. Sometimes you have to ask the obvious questions. And sometimes if they're aggravated, the obvious question looks really dumb and pisses them off. So I'd be the reporter saying, Coach Malone, looking at the stats here with the free throw percentages and stuff, would you have sacrificed a kitten if it would have meant a win? Well, you're damn right I would. You know, I would have. Those are the kind of questions I'd ask. I probably wouldn't last long.
No. And, coaches.
Still less cringy than Doyle from Indianapolis, being weird with Caitlin Clark that time.
Yeah, no, nothing's going to be weirder than that. That has to be one of the worst things that a reporter has said.
He got suspended
into a microphone that everybody heard.
It took him almost a week to where they were like, what the hell was that? How do we even? What do we do with bad? They didn't even know how to respond, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're suspended, weirdo."
Yeah, and then they were like, "All right, you're a good reporter. You can cover the Pacers and the Colts. You stay away from the Fever, which is you're done covering them forever.
No more WNBA for you, pal. Weirdo, creep."
I can't even begin to think about what made him think that was a good idea.
For me, we will have no problems at all.
That is really weird to say.
Dude is like 50. Caitlin Clark is like 20. We'll have no problem at all.
He's just old enough to be her dad, and you're saying that. Like that is, it's weird.
You make this heart for your family, but you can make it for me too. What the hell, man?
I don't know.
Competent, normal seeming reporter loses his bleep over Caitlin Clark.
I don't understand. I just
talk about maybe that's a midlife crisis.
Like there's a camera and microphones everywhere. Yeesh. Like even that didn't stop him from thinking that was a good thing to say.
King of Kitten says an 8.5 hour day is a half an hour unpaid for lunch and then 2 paid 15-minute breaks. So a break every 2 hours. Well, all right. So if it's 15 minutes every 2 hours, then in 2 hours, 6, 10, 20, I'm getting 20 minutes of break. So I'm getting about 5 more minutes of break time doing the show than most people do in 2 hours. So that's not too far off. Yeah, I need my damn breaks back. All right, now I'm going to say it again.
Back on board. There you go.
I'm back up. Tired of being hassled by the man. Anyway, so speaking of Caitlin Clark, is she doing better? Did she start playing better? Or is everybody still worried about her now?
No, she started playing better. Like she kind of started figuring things out. They played the Liberty on Saturday, and they still lost the game, but she played better. She had
all that matters, Victor Wembanyama style.
Yeah, like 22 points, some really nice passes. Like she sees the floor really well, and then just cutting down on those turnovers, which she had a bunch of the first game, and then had a little less. So yeah, no, she's starting to figure it out.
So, are you familiar with what's her name? I don't know her name. Sorry.
Do you have a descriptive a team name?
Well, the girl who got in trouble, I guess the WNBA is investigating the Aces, Las Vegas Aces, because they paid $100,000 per player sponsorship deal with the Las Vegas Tourism Authority. You following me?
Yeah.
Actually, that's six. I don't know. Is that for every player on the team is getting $100,000? I'm trying to figure out who the players are or player. How's this whole thing going down?
Yeah. The name that keeps coming up for that is Asia Wilson.
Okay.
Who's that'd be
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Asia Wilson. Is she Asian?
She's not. Her name is spelled AJA, not ASIA.
That's cultural appropriation right there. But no, it's just spelled differently.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
If it just means Asia, then I'm right back on it.
I don't think that's what they were going for. No.
So yeah, all the Average Joe says no. It's true. All the players get $100,000 each, which they say is like equals up to 6 players' salaries on the team. So 100,000 divided by 6, and that's horrible. But yeah, so that's good for them. So why does the WNBA care? It's like an NIL deal, right? They all get just paid a little money to
essentially, but there is a salary cap in the league. So
salary cap, but not you go out like Caitlin Clark has sponsors. So if the Las Vegas Tourism Authority is sponsoring these gals, here, put on this hat and make sure when you're walking around, you're wearing a Las Vegas tourism hat or T-shirt or something. What's wrong with that? Why do college students get that deal and not players?
The only reason why something could be wrong with that is if they did this with the team involved, right? Like if the team is using this as a way to pay players,
who cares,
and avoid the cap. Well, because it's not a sponsorship you worked out on your.
Yeah, the team's not paying this,
but the
Las
team,
Vegas,
but the team can't organize it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, "Hey, you come play for the Phoenix Suns." Just also remember, everybody on the Phoenix Suns ends up with a contract with the Phoenix Tourism Authority, and then they'll give you some cash.
Yeah, I don't think the investigation is going to actually come away with a whole lot. Like if this is something that they have worked out with players that show up and they did that on their own, then, and I mean the travel the visitors authority, if they did that on their own, there's really nothing that the WNBA can do. If the Aces organized it, then that can be seen as a way to pay players without having to pay a contract that will count against your cap, which means you can sign more players than other teams can who aren't organizing their money in that way.
How many players are on this team?
I think,
starters, bench, 10, 11?
I think 15.
15. So $1.5 million. Is that not normal for Las Vegas Tourism Authority to spend on promotional stuff? What's their budget? Because if they never had a budget that's $1.5 million, I get suspicious.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I don't know what their budget is or kind of what their normal spending habits are on that. So I would be willing to bet that goes into factoring into the investigation.
We see commercials. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
So we know they've spent money. So that means they must have already had a pretty good sized budget. And if they decide to peel off $1.5 million and say, hey, we're going to pay these girls. So whenever they're out, whenever they're on the road, whenever whatever, they got a hat, they got a T-shirt, they're repping us. They're in our little commercials that we send all over the country. Why not? I see nothing wrong with this, and the WNBA should shut its cake hole.
I don't see anything wrong with it either, but I do think that I think it's worth investigating. I feel like I don't like the way that they did that. Like,
investigate away. I agree.
Yeah, like
make
if
sure there's no collusion.
Yeah, if you make sure that there's no funny business and everything comes back clean, then you're good. You know,
the cap is the cap. I get you.
But I do think that I don't like the way that news broke, which is that Aces players got to answer questions about this investigation. They had no idea. They had just finished the game. Then they go to the post-game presser and they're answering questions about an investigation. And they're like, oh, we don't know. This is the first we're hearing of it. Mm-hmm. So it's not great. I don't like the release of that particular bit of information there.
Random texter says, Keon, is it just me, or does it, based upon all the highlight films I've seen, maybe seem like the rest of the WNBA has it out for Caitlin Clark?
No, because you're
talking about that one pick that flattened her.
Yeah, Brianna Stewart set a nice hard screen.
That was fair.
That was a fair screen. She did get absolutely. I think it was also a Liberty game. She was going to the basket and just got clobbered. But I'm just going to tell you right now, that's just par for the course in that league.
It's interesting though, because people will say, "Wow, she is getting all the benefits because she's white." And then they'll say, wow, she's getting all the hate because she's white. They're trying to assign a race reason for both sides of what Caitlin Clark is. And I don't know if...
Do I think...
Yeah, go ahead.
Do I think that there's a little bit of a vendetta against her? I don't think it's racial. I think it's here is this rookie that's coming in.
Yeah,
and
she's something?
Yeah, and she's getting all of this hype that like... she deserves it. She had a great college career, but everybody that's been playing in that league this whole time is like, we've been good. Mm-hmm. And we've won championships in college and we've broken records, and like nobody cared about us until you got here. Yeah, you're gonna have to earn your keep. But like that's a really competitive league. There are just 12 teams, so there's only about 144 roster spots between everybody. And that means perfectly good players end up not playing in the league and have to play overseas. And
you can understand them. They're a little bit of resentment or a little bit of but also you can never plan this. When somebody gets suddenly popular and it runs away with it, it can happen to somebody white or black. And everybody that's freaking out about this, positive and negative on either side, there seems to be an equal amount of positive and negative that seems to have to do with her skin color. It just, I don't know that is what it is. It's just,
or at least that's not all that it
is. There's knowing more. Who the hot new YouTuber is going to be or who the hot new actress is going to be. It doesn't always make it the best one. It doesn't make it the right one. It just happens to be, it was going to happen. And there she was when it happened.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily indict our society one way or the other.
Yeah. And I do think that there's also an aspect of this, which is that people haven't been watching the WNBA this whole time, which fair, not going to go after anybody for that. But it does mean that you don't understand how physical that game has been this entire time. You don't get gimmies in that league. Like people will foul the crap out of you if it looks like you're about to get a free layup.
Oh, yeah.
Like they just don't allow that to happen.
She got her welcome to the WNBA moment right there. Bam! But what'd she do? She jumped right back up and chased it down and was in the mix. So
there are a number of other players. They'll tell you the stories. I was a rookie and this was my welcome to the league moment. It's not just her. This is just how they play in the WNBA, man. It's actually more physical than the men's game.
Well, random texter, I think he answered that question. He says, I asked this because I don't remember any other WNBA players making a comment about any other players coming into the WNBA like Tarazi did about Caitlin Clark. Well, the reason is there wasn't this much of a spotlight on those things when they happened.
And what Tarazi said was right. Like what she said was, first off, she never mentioned Caitlin Clark's name specifically. She just said the rookies. And she said that when you come into the league, it's not the same as playing in college. You're playing against grown people who have been professional athletes for years, and they're going to kick your butt. Like you were playing in college a month and a half ago. Like there's no other sport that's got an off season that's essentially that short of a turnaround for you to be a rookie. And then you're a starter in a month and a half and you're supposed to be the face of a team. Like, yeah, you're going to take a little bit of time to adjust. she also said in those comments that everybody went through it, including her. Like that's every league is like this. You don't just let the rookies show up and show you up. You show them that they're places that they're rookies.
White people, don't be super sensitive about what's going on with her. Okay, she's not being treated badly. Everybody else, just because she's white is not why all the positive things are happening to her. So we got to get past this kind of thing as soon as possible. It would be great. It would be great if we could. But then I say that, and then there's all the evil, horrible bleep that happens in the world where I'm like, you know what? I was wrong. I'm just gonna be quiet now and be sad about humanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I think you can acknowledge that there are some of those dynamics at play without assigning each and everything to that, right? Everything that she gets that's good is not because of her race, and everything that she's getting that's bad is not because of that. There's probably a blend of things in there, but I don't think it's completely one or the other.
Life. All right, let's take a break. People got lots to say about this. We'll get that when we come back. Plus, we'll see how the Diamondbacks are doing. Keon, I'm going to need to. Well, Randy's not here, so I'm going to need you to tell me what we are going to see. What are we going to have to expect as we go up against the damn Dodgers again at the Dodgers? God damn it! Yeah. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Hey there, you and aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harman Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmansolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmansolar.com.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges on your tax debt daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you will owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima Tax have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-480-6932. That's 800-480-6932. 800-480-6932. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a walk-off grand slam or a base hit to center field, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342.
Your home for sports. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. So the WNBA is investigating the Aces. I guess each player gets $100,000 from Las Vegas Tourism Authority, and they're like, "Hey, well, you guys aren't allowed to organize that sort of thing. But if Las Vegas Tourism Authority is just kind of doing it, then that's fine. But there's cap implications if the team is involved, right?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, you're using this as a workaround of the cap instead of paying your fair share.
888-368-1580. Average Joe says, if the team was involved in the deal, league looks at it as a recruiting technique and a way to pay players in Vegas without counting against the cap, especially when the majority of the players in the Aces are getting like $65,000 a year. Actually, I think some less too, right?
Some less, but they are, they're considered a super team. They are loaded with talent. So if you're working around the cap and people want to know how is it that you're affording to pay all of these players, that could have some implications there because they're the defending champs. Their team is loaded.
Yeah, but if an advertiser decides I want to do a sponsorship with everybody on that team, why that's not wrong unless the team was involved, and then how do you prove they are or not? This is going to be interesting. Average Joe also says, would you go play in Phoenix for 65,000 or Vegas for 100 plus 65,000? Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. Ringless Joe says, winning is a hell of a cologne. Jokic is I just want to ride horses gimmick is funny when you're the champion, but when you lose, it kind of makes you look like a jackass. Well, he did not lose looking like a jackass, though. He came out in the press conference and said some very gracious things, admitted, hey, they beat us and they were built to beat us. So now we got to go back and sort this out. So I can't really give the Nuggets a hard time. Yeah, sometimes I find Jokic arrogant. Like I find Luka arrogant. It's that European arrogance thing that they carry sometimes. But then other times I'm just kind of like, it's pretty funny, Maybe I'm thinking it's arrogant because they have that European accent. Maybe if, maybe they're not arrogant. Maybe they just, everybody who has that accent kind of sounds that way.
Maybe. Because I know with Luka, I could understand how Luka could actually be an arrogant person. He's somebody who is pretty much considered a basketball genius at a pretty early age. You're playing in Europe, you're going in the professional leagues, you're a teenager going up against grown men and you're dominating, and you go to the NBA and there really doesn't seem to be a drop off for you. You just continue right on rolling. Like I could see that with Luka. Jokic was a second round pick. Like there was no guarantee that he was going to become the guy he ultimately became. I just think he's a really introverted guy. He just doesn't like talking to people very much, and he has his interests that he has on the side that are that are very important to him. He likes his horses. He likes his family. Those are all the things he likes.
Yeah, I got no problem with him. Even though sometimes if you're up against him, you're like, oh, goodness.
Yeah, and look, there are just times where you're like, I don't know how you stop that guy. That is frustrating to watch when you're on the wrong side of that.
Rough Rob says, me, Jeffrey, Randy, Keon all made more money than some WNBA players. They deserve more money. Who cares who it comes from? Wink, wink, the mob. It's relevant. It is relevant. And the thing is, if the team's not involved in it, there's no guarantee that you can duplicate this in another town. And then all of a sudden there's Vegas looking like the place to go because you're going to get that sponsorship deal. So it is odd. And it would be an unfortunate thing if the gals at the other places can't get the same consideration. I don't know. Cliff Dingleberry says, is what Vegas doing any different than the reason NBA players play in Florida where they don't have to pay income taxes? Yeah, there's a benefit there if you end up playing for a team or can get on the team. That's a good point.
But it's not. But those teams didn't organize those advantages. Those are just.
Well, you don't know that the Aces did either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what the investigation is for, to find out whether or not it was organized or if that's just kind of how it works over there.
Quiet Cannon says, Jeffrey, you could get an extra 5-minute breather by letting Keon go for like 5 or 6 minutes uninterrupted. Hopefully I represent the fourth dimension by saying we don't want you to get stressed out. I'm just saying. Are you saying you'd rather listen to Keon talk for 5 minutes without me talking? Is that what you're trying to say?
Did you not have enough on Saturday?
I can make your dreams come true pretty damn quick. Are you saying you want less of me, Quiet Cannon? Baker's Cocky Hen says Luka winning a title, looking like OG and Nobi out there, would really be annoying for Suns fans, I'd assume. Ayton is in the Bahamas, not giving a crap as usual. Yeah, but he's somebody else's problem now. But I hear you, man. Number one Rattlers fan says Asia, short for Asiawana Dunk, a Central African tribe famous for its prolific basketball players. I don't think that's true.
On account of her last name is Wilson, I'm going to go with no. You know, that great African tribe name, Wilson.
That is some made up stuff right there. Guys, says Big George, please don't talk about Luka Doncic. I know where you're going with this because it popped in my brain too. If the Suns would have drafted him number one over DeAndre Ayton, the Suns would probably be in the Western Conference Finals right now. They'd already have a championship right now, to be honest. But here was the issue at the time. We talked about this at the time. And at the time, I even said, you got to draft DeAndre Ayton because Luka wasn't sure if he was even going to come and play in the United States. He was still sort of on the fence, and that was too risky for the Suns and Ryan McDonough to make that decision. We're going to draft a guy number one overall that then doesn't show up, that doesn't sign. Then what?
Yeah, then you're kind of stuck holding the bag. And
it was too big a risk when you weren't sure of his intentions at that time. And it was an easy decision on DeAndre Ayton based on the information you had at the moment.
It's hindsight is 2020. Like, it's easy to look back and say, obviously Luka. And yeah, if they knew that Luka was going to play in the US, like you said, it's a no-brainer of a decision. But Luka went fifth. Like that ought to tell you something. Like, the Suns weren't the only team that were worried about that. Yeah. I was in Georgia doing radio when the Hawks actually drafted Luka and then swapped picks to get Trae Young instead. Like that's the same thought process there.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, it's easy to look back on it now and go, okay, well, you should have drafted Luka. Okay, in 2013, every team that drafted before pick number 15, where Giannis went, should have drafted Giannis. But you can only look at that in hindsight now.
And remember, Michael Jordan, there was a guy somebody else drafted before him. So T-Licious says, so I'm rooting for Minnesota in the conference finals because F Dallas in like every sport, please. And for the Pacers because, well, why not? And go Panthers and Oilers in the NHL. And Caitlin Clark has 8 points after one quarter. Well, okay. That was
what? Many ideas in one text.
First off, Caitlin Clark had only 8 points
after one quarter. They're playing right now.
Oh, okay. Thought that was a dig. I didn't know where it was going.
No. They're in the second quarter right now, and yeah.
So, okay, thumbs up. It's all T-Licious opinions, all in one text right there. Mr. Wilbur says, I got some texture nicknames for that police officer who had been listening there. Yeah, he never responded again after that. I was like, hey, you got a texture nickname? He's like, no, I don't think so. No. He says, Kojak, Beretta, Magnum. Magnum wasn't a police officer. Magnum was a private investigator. And he says, actually, no, wait, those sound like condoms. No, that's true. They do, Mr.
That's a good point. Why?
Ringless Joe says the Suns have always had an excuse, but honestly, their decision making for the past few years has been brain dead. They've languished in the bottom for 5 years. Now they have the talent, and it just feels worse. Okay, first off, bite me. Second, it's not brain dead. It's just the best information you had in DeAndre Ayton was to draft DeAndre Ayton. At that moment, nobody complained about it. It was only until you started seeing where he would fall off or where he would check out, where you're like, oh, damn it. So that's not a brain dead. That's just one of those things that happens when you draft sometimes. And to say that it was, listen,
I think 5 years is a bit much when you're saying their decision making has been
languished in the bottom. Wasn't it within 5 years we've been to a championship?
Yeah.
How's that languishing at the bottom?
Since
Ringless Joe?
I've been here
in playoffs and in championship games, Joe.
Yeah, I don't think that's languishing at the bottom. I'm sorry. That just doesn't track with the reality of things. But that doesn't
I
mean
almost
that
got roped into that dumb conversation.
Yeah, I think that if you want to talk about the decision making since Matt Ishbias have shown up, okay, we can entertain that conversation because those appear to be very different decisions than the ones that were being made before.
I felt we were on our way to some Warriors type talent from some of the guys that we have sent away, and I miss the Cans, and I miss those guys. And I think if we'd have hung in there, we could have gotten there. So, I get the ideas that just did not develop. So I do miss that team we were working on there. Beer Bob says if the Suns would have drafted Luka, he would have signed with them. They just hired his international coach and everything. Don't make excuses for them, Jeffrey. The Suns messed up big time. Yeah, okay. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harman Solar Podcast at harmansolar.com.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher with Josh Garcia of the Miracle Mile Deli. Josh, I want to thank you and your family for making such a huge difference over the last 75 years in the restaurant business in Arizona.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve generations of families like yours in the Valley over the last 7 decades, and we are extremely grateful to be celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2024 with a variety of different specials. So come on down to our Phoenix location at 16th Street in Campbell with your family and friends and celebrate with us. For more information, visit miraclemiledeli.com.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girls.
Hey, hit the road. How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're going to have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter in 73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
You're expanding your business and need to add to your fleet. Maybe you need another semi-truck or trailer. Don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used trucks and trailers. Whether you're an owner-operator or a fleet manager, I'll get the vehicles you need with a simple application and same-day approval. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353 or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
Hi, I'm State School Superintendent Tom Horn. Arizona has a shortage of teachers and a need to improve students' proficiency in reading and math. We need to increase teachers' income, which they deserve, and to increase students' proficiency, which is my highest priority. I'm therefore providing $40 million for free one-on-one tutoring for all students, first grade through high school, regardless of proficiency level. Learn more today at azed.gov.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Education.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. Your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He tested the power of the wind and he lost. Hopefully he'll be back with us tomorrow or the next day or whenever he can find his way back from Nebraska. But that's all right. We got Keon Rose right here in the control room. You guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580 as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. I was tickled to find out that we have another police officer who listens to the show when we were talking about Scheffler and his little incident in the body cam earlier in the show. And I thought, well, this guy should have a text or nickname. So I don't want to ever read any part of his phone number because, you don't want to identify him. And he says, it turns out he was trying to listen. He says, sorry, guys, I was out on a call. I missed that last part. I would like to keep my identity private if that's possible. Absolutely. I mean, 95% of the text line has done exactly the same thing. So they don't get in trouble at work if, they're texted in from their cubicle or from out on the road. So you, of course, are afforded the same courtesy. But we'd love for you to have a text or nickname, though.
Or they're making jokes they don't want their family to hear.
Make sure your text or nickname is not something they can figure you out from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's different in his line of work. They were like, hey, wait a minute. I know who that is. So it'd have to be some cool nickname you've always wanted, but you haven't told any of the other officers about. Or we could try to come up with a good one for you. We would struggle to remember because Randy keeps the list. But I bet we could come up with something cool that nobody would know it was you from. So whatever the case it is, I hope you're staying safe out there and go ahead and let us know if we can assign you a cool text or nickname. It's funny, Keon. Remember we had that guy in prison?
Yeah.
That's like the full spectrum. We got cops and robbers.
Incarcerated
right here.
person.
Yeah, we still have.
Who we have not heard from in a very long time.
I wonder if he got caught with that phone in there.
I feel like he did, but I don't have any way of proving it. He was texting every day for a long time and then suddenly nothing.
Do you remember how long he was supposed to have been in?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
I should go back and find his text and see. Then I can calculate. Well, we'll see him in 3 to 5. Sure. Anyway, so if we can come up with a text or nickname, or you got one, love to hear from you, pal. 888-368-1580. T-Bone says, hey guys, hello gentlemen. I want to give a shout out to my son's Buckeye Little League team winning the championship game this past Friday night. Oh, that's awesome, man. Give him a shout out. Name them. The team, not the kids. Give the name of the team there over there in Buckeye. So, yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. That is that. How old are kids in Little League, T-Bone? I'm just curious what age range that is. Ringless Joe says, Jeffrey, you misread my text. It would not be the first time. Who was I talking to? I was in a conversation the other day where I had to pull out my glasses, my readers. And I said, I didn't start needing readers until, oh God, when was this? My late 40s. And I'd be doing the show. That's how I found out, doing the show. I'd be doing the show and I'd read a text and I'd be like, what the hell, man? And then I'd look it back again and they'd say, I didn't say that. And I'm like, oh my God, I just couldn't see it. I can't see it correctly. And Randy was one who's like, you need to get your eyes checked.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't. I'm fine. I'm just trying to do stuff, reading fast, whatever. It didn't even occur to me. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. So I apologize, Ringless Joe, if I got it wrong. He says, Jeffrey, you misread my text. I said the Suns languished in the bottom 5 for several years. Specifically, they were dead last in 14th and 15th place for 4 years in a row, 2015 to 2018.
Yeah, but
that's not the time we're talking about.
You said the last 5 years. That's not that. And also like that.
No, I read it that way. I didn't read it correct.
Gotcha.
He said they languished in the bottom for 5 years. I took it as the last 5 years. My bad, Ringless Joe.
Yeah. But that happens to teams. Everybody gets a turn doing that.
But he does say now they have more talent, but it feels like it's wasted. They blew up the team that made the finals. Now they need to improve.
Gotcha. Okay. I understand.
They had a winning formula and they threw it away. So you and I are saying the same thing, Ringless Joe.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying. I regret that they blew out the Cams and the other guy. I always forget his name. So we are on the same page.
Yeah.
I thought he was just hating.
And I think we all agree on that. that like if you get a chance to take a risk and get better, I don't think I ever get mad at a team for doing that. But I usually associate those kinds of risks with people having a plan. And it just doesn't seem like there's a plan of here's what happens if a lot of these ideas we have with Beal and Durant don't work out. There doesn't seem to be a plan B here. And that's the thing that scares me.
Anybody who like what one of us, any one of us, let's say we suddenly, hey, I got $1 billion. I'm buying a team, and I buy a team. And you walk in, you're like, hey guys, I own the team. In your head, you're like, oh my God, that's Kevin Durant. Or you didn't have Kevin Durant yet. Ishbia bought the team. None of us could have resisted going, hey, what if we do this? It seems like a good idea to a regular person. Hey, what if we do this? Now they did that, didn't work. Maybe now he's going to be like, let me know what we're going to do. And hopefully that's what Ishbia is doing right now. Let me know what we're going to do.
That's what you hope. It just doesn't seem like that currently. And I wonder how long it's going to take before he learns the lesson that, like Mark Cuban in Dallas, he showed up and started throwing money around in Dallas. Like he eventually figured out, I'm going to hire basketball guys and I'll be involved. Like I'll watch the process. I'll be
on Shark Tank. Let me know what happens.
I'll keep being the fanboy in the room, but I'm not going to make any more decisions. I'm going to hire people and let them make those decisions. How long do we have to wait before Ishbia figures it out?
But like if I bought a TV station or a TV network, or if I had bought this or that little like, hey guys, what if we do this? Like, well, that sounds like a good idea, sir. I'm trying to keep my job, sir. Thank you for telling us, sir. We're doing that, sir.
It's tempting. I'm not saying that it's not, or even like I think it's a thing that happens to a lot of owners who are new. They really assume
shiny
that they're
new
supposed
toy
to,
syndrome.
Yeah, I think Matt Ishbia is going through that phase of being an owner. You also got to remember how young he is too. Like relative to some of the other guys in this league that own teams, he's he's a kid basically. And so like I do think that there's a little impulsiveness that comes with that the guys who maybe this isn't even their first franchise. Right. They own a team in another sport. They already did all this.
It goes one way or the other. It goes, this is how he will always be as an owner, Jerry Jones style.
Yeah.
Or he's a smart guy and he kind of goes, all right. You guys, all right, give it a shot. You guys help me. No, let's do this. I'm really hoping it's the second. 888-368-1580. T-Bone says AAA team 12U Rattlers 2.0. That's the little league team in Buckeye that won the championship on Friday night. Congratulations, you guys. That's a long name. The AAA team 12U Rattlers 2.0.
Well, I think because he was answering your age question as well. So 12
2.0.
12
They're
and
2
under.
years old.
12.
Oh, that's what
and
12U is.
Yeah.
Oh, so the team name is Rattlers 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense because I've seen some 2-year-olds and they can't do nothing.
Not even T-ball.
No, it's sad. It is really. You throw a fastball to a 2-year-old, nothing. T-Licious says, my bad for the Harry Potter book text. It all came out as I was typing. Yeah, we deciphered it. We got you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Skull says, afternoon, guys. I'm in SLC. Salt Lake City.
That's my guess.
Could be some little cafe.
That's true.
South Lower Chicago.
I wouldn't recommend it, but everybody teach their own.
I don't know. Could mean stupid, lame Chandler,
which is a little hurtful.
But Chandler's not bad.
Yeah,
but it is
I
hurtful. I'm guessing Salt Lake City. Chief Skull seems a little Mormon. He says, afternoon, guys. I'm in Salt Lake City for work and just drove past U of Utah football. See, if I'd read the rest of the text. Yeah, it's Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
He says, damn it. It blows ASU out of the water. These Mormons know how to do football. These Mormons know how to make and spend money. You ever seen an American Leadership Academy? They have no music program, but they have a cathedral as a football field. I bleep you not. American Leadership Academy in Queen Creek. has one of the nicest football fields and that spongy track and beautiful grass. And they have all the facilities. Zero music program. No band. No choir.
Wow.
I know, maybe a choir.
Maybe a
don't
choir.
cost anything.
But wow.
So anyway, Big George says, well, I would even prefer Marvin Bagley III. To who, George? To who?
To who?
He says
DeAndre
Ayton. To DeAndre Ayton.
Big George,
the second overall pick in the draft.
Go to Marvin Bagley's Pro Basketball Reference page and just look at any of those numbers and then compare them to DeAndre Ayton. Any season. Marvin Bagley has done absolutely nothing in the NBA. What are you talking about? He hasn't done anything. Just like I could understand how you would have preferred him at the time.
I think I understand something. I think I understand something really big right now. Okay. Here's what I understand. Big George is in California now because lawyers don't get drug tested there. Because clearly he's high.
I would even prefer Marvin
Clearly
Bagley.
He's high. Am I right, George? They don't test you guys, do they? At least not at your firm.
Marvin Bagley has not played greater than 50 games at any point in his NBA career besides his rookie season. These are the amount of games that he's played since he was a second-year player in the league. 13 games, 43 games, 48 games, 48 games, 42, 50, and then 40-something again. Like, the guy doesn't stay healthy. He doesn't score.
Listen, I get wanting to crap on DeAndre Ayton. I get it. But let's be real.
DeAndre Ayton at his peak here in Phoenix was a 20-10 guy. He just give you 20 points and 10 rebounds. He couldn't give it to you every game.
We use him because he faded away during the playoffs and had a lack of enthusiasm and effort at times that would just drive you mental. That's why he had to leave.
Marvin Bagley right now is a Washington Wizard, and he doesn't get on the floor.
That is all you need to say.
Thank you. He's horrible.
No more conversation.
He doesn't deserve to be in the same sentence with DeAndre Ayton, and that's saying an awful lot.
Yeah, I rest my case, Your Honor. That's it. You have won the case right there. That's that kind of like in the Brady Bunch where the guy had the neck brace and then somebody threw the briefcase on the ground and he goes, what? And then the judge goes, case dismissed. Exactly what we just had here. The lawyer's been lawyered.
He'll be traded again next year, by the way, because he's just the guy that you trade now to make sure the contracts match. You don't play Marvin Bagley. He's just there.
Big George says, I don't do drugs, never have, never will. But you're right. There's no drug testing here. See what I'm saying?
See
what I'm saying?
It just seems to lend itself to what you just said about Marvin Bagley. Look, Ayton and like anybody else in that draft, if you want to say we should have drafted somebody else, okay, fine. Just not Marvin. Marvin didn't do anything in the league.
Wow. So our police officer friend says, okay, here's some Texter nickname ideas I have. Officer Friendly. Oh, I'd say that's a great one.
Already.
Trooper Farva. Stellar. Columbo. And you're under arrest. What was, how about Lieutenant Dangle?
Lieutenant Dangle
from Reno 911.
Yeah. A lot of great options.
You like the Farva?
I like the Farva.
Yeah.
I do like Super Troopers.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. I'd say it's between Officer Friendly and Trooper Farva. I like those two. I don't know.
Officer Friendly is a really good one, too.
What do you think about Dangle? What if we just called him Dangle? That's funny for a lot of reasons. He may not like that.
Or, that's the thing. It just
and by the way, we're assuming he, maybe she, let us know as well, just so we, use your proper pronoun. They're like, my proper pronoun is officer. Okay, fair. That's fine. Look at that. I just had a conversation with myself.
Understandable.
Big Jake says, what if never matched that Pacers offer for Ayton or trade for Miles Turner? We didn't want him.
that's the part. That's the one that kills me is when he signed that offer sheet with the Pacers, and the Pacers wanted DeAndre Ayton, and then the Suns matched. Like, if you didn't really want him, you could have gone sign and trade, and gotten Miles Turner back, who is a really good basketball player. And
Miles Turner overdrive up in here would have been good.
Yeah, and the guy's got a high motor, which is what we were mad at DeAndre for not having.
That's why calling him Miles Turner overdrive is perfect.
Yeah,
but we didn't get that, did we? We didn't get that. Jonesy says, one Wildcat I'll admit to not liking, DeAndre Ayton. Guy looks like he hates making millions of dollars playing a game. Well, he had that like sort of fade at the end of a season thing with us, and in the clutch moments, he just wasn't clutch as we hoped he would be. But when he got to Portland, that got year round. You know, that sort of, I don't know how because he was like, oh, I'm going to show them. And they got there and we're like, no, he got all goth. He got an emo on him.
The Portland team is so bad. If DeAndre Ayton wanted to take 20, 25 shots a game, he would have done it. They would have allowed him to do that. He could have inflated his numbers, all of this stuff. And he couldn't even be bothered to do that.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there, but hey, congratulations. He's made himself a nice bunch of money.
He'll never get paid like that again. That's not the most money you can make in basketball. It's the second contract,
but guess what?
Enough for him
He's
to be
making it
satisfied.
easy,
Yeah.
and he's not injured because there's no effort.
That's DeAndre Ayton playing chess while we're all playing checkers. You can't get hurt if you don't try.
He's won the lottery. Big Jake says McConnell and Turner sure would be nice in the Suns uniform. And Ayton did put up stats towards the end of the season in meaningless games, I guess. You talking about for Portland? Well, I never paid attention there. So Tihawaz says Northern Nogales Tech. And, the whole screen moved. And anything or anyone that comes from there blows. Thank you, Tia was. Not going to argue on that. Randy was born in an Air Force base, not technically Tucson. He was born on sovereign ground, not the horribleness that is Tucson.
Just like if you're born on a U.S. base in like Germany, you're still an American citizen.
Damn straight, Randy. Baker's Cocky Hen says, yeah, you talk about that kid from Auburn football yet? Well, I probably wasn't gonna. The one that got shot? Or the one, is that what we're talking about? I don't want to talk about that. Didn't feel like I wanted to talk about that. That's sad. He says, out at 3:30 a.m., bad things happen yet again. But it's not always bad decisions by the person involved. Like the guy who was in the club, that football player who was in the club, and some 16-year-old kid came in and shot up the place. It was like midnight. It wasn't like he was doing bad things. But yeah, it's true. The later you are out, the more chance of that kind of stuff happening.
But also young people make mistakes. And if you're young and wanting to have a good time and all of that, like, I'm not saying that it doesn't come with consequences, but that doesn't mean you deserve it.
Ringless Joe says, now that the Knicks have been eliminated, that Devin Booker trade to them is looking much more likely. Knicks need to take advantage of their window, and the Suns need to build around KD. What? Okay, first off, just because the Knicks want doesn't mean the Knicks get. And second, KD, you can't build around a guy who's only a couple of years away from probably retiring. That doesn't make any sense, Ringless Joe.
Yeah,
to me, I mean, maybe it does to Keon.
No, I mean, Kevin Durant is 37? Like, that's
that's what I'm saying. You don't build around like that guy.
Like, he's in a couple of years, he'll be 40. Like, that's
and he knows that. I'm not insulting him.
No, it's just that's how time works, and that like that's just the nature of what that does to your body is aging. And so I don't think that you build around that. I think if you trade Booker, you're basically saying we're blowing the whole thing up and starting over, which might be the best move rather than being stuck with $150 million worth of contract for at least 2 more years.
Jonesy says, I think the only reason DeAndre Ayton played with any effort in the regular season with the Suns, Chris Paul. Reports said he had to basically personally coach Ayton. That means he was on his ass all the time. And I can see that being absolutely right and true, Jonesy. And now nobody was on his ass in Portland, and he's got no direction. Well,
and that's where a lot of these GMs try to figure out all of these psychological tests and stuff, because they're trying to figure out when they draft you, are you a self-motivated guy? Do we need to have strong personalities around you to bring the best out of you? Or can you just do that yourself? And with Ayton, the answer is pretty clearly now. No, he cannot do that himself.
Nope. Our police officer friend says, let's do officer friendly. He says that was my partner's idea, and he enjoys listening to the show too in between calls.
Whoa.
Well, let's get that guy up in here.
No, we could have two of you.
Come on, officer friendly. So look, I just used his name the first time. Let's get both you guys up on there. You can rip on each other in the same car. I think that'd be great. So welcome to the text line, officer friendly. It's a pleasure. Big Jake says, is the Suns' new assistant GM going to work cap magic for us? He's supposed to be a cap guru and a 3-team trade artist. Well, I figure if he's supposed to, then probably.
He will, but I don't know if you'll be able to see the effects of it. I was reading about the restrictions on the Suns based on how far over the cap they are. If you're a magician, you might just get average results with some of the things. If your goal is to keep this team together, that's where I'm like, I don't know if you get a genius cap guy, if it's going to help you too much, because the amount of things you can't do is at this point much longer than the list of things you can do.
Shoot your shot, Ishbia. Now it's a rebuild, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it seems like from everything I hear in the press conferences, they're doubling down on it, and that's
should be interesting.
It will be interesting.
I appreciate the effort, even though it's dumb.
Yeah, it's just like, look, I understood the risk the first time, but now I'm like, okay, we've seen it's not really working and not close. Like, it's not like just a little bit more. You got swept in the first round. You have to have a different set of ideas, and I don't think that Matt Ishbia is interested in a different
James
set
Jones
of ideas.
is like, okay, after this time, can I run this?
Can I please have my job back, please?
Baker's Cocky Hen says, someone please take the texture nickname Shayton on Ayton. If it's not, he says, if it's not already. Nobody's ever had that. Shayton on Ayton.
Why would someone have had that? He's
gone.
Did
you mean Hayton on Ayton?
I think you meant Hayton on Ayton.
Shayton on Ayton. That's
it's very on the line, and someone could have a very bad day. Talking. Sometimes you get your tongue tied, and then you say the wrong thing about Ayton, and
you're
in trouble.
How about no?
I just think that's a trap in waiting.
All right, we got to take a break. We come back. I need to find out what the deal is with these Diamondbacks. Ralph, I guess, couldn't make it to the show because he would just said, Dodgers going to beat your asses. So I want to know, where are we at with injuries? Where are we at with the way the team is playing? And what kind of a chance do we have in the Chavez Ravine for this series? It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NBA playoffs continuing now that the Eastern and Western Conference Finals are set. Tuesday night, the Boston Celtics will host the Indiana Pacers. Boston in the conference finals for the third straight year. They're a 10-point favorite in the opening game Tuesday, minus 480 on the money line. Pacers coming off a 7-game series against the Knicks, plus 370, with the over-under total at 221.5. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a 4-point home favorite Wednesday in game 1 against the Dallas Mavericks. Minnesota minus 178, Mavericks plus 150, with the over-under of 206.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit. Credit for deciding while stuck in traffic to get a bachelor's degree. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. Plus, get your application fee waived through May 31st. Flexible online and hybrid classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHEB.
Memorial Day deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, save big on Scott's Naturescapes mulch. Get 5 bags for just $10. And there's more. Get up to 40% off. Plus, save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances. These deals are selling fast, so start shopping now. Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 5/29. Mulch excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Appliance savings vary based on purchase. See Lowe's.com for details. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girl.
Hey, hit the road. How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness, and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're gonna have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now, how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter in 73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
Do you need equipment for your business but don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used equipment. Excavators, forklifts, dozers, tractors, cranes, plows, and more. If it's essential to your business, I will help you get the money you need. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
8 Out presents Terrifying Jobs.
Bull Rider, take two.
Today we're talking with Clifford Maxwell, a rodeo bullfighter. His job? Distract raging bulls from going after thrown riders.
Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah. Distracted drivers terrify me.
This message is brought to you by ABA and this station.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
And we're the Weekend Warriors.
So, Ralph, what are the Weekend Warriors all about?
Well, we talk about sports.
National sports?
Of course.
Regional sports?
Sure.
Arizona sports?
Yeah. And we also interview local athletes, coaches, and sports-related business owners to share their amazing stories.
But what if they don't have an amazing story?
Then we talk about something else. You know what, Neil? You're fired.
Again? Well, listen in for great sports talk, amazing interviews, and to see if I have a job next week.
You won't. It's the Weekend Warriors every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Hey, Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. All right, so got the Dodgers tonight, 7:15 or something for the Arizona Diamondbacks. People aren't really giving the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks a lot of chance in this game. Taking a look back at the games the Diamondbacks have been playing, they lost that series to the Detroit Tigers, but they won the last game. I have said it seems like this season, every series, Diamondbacks will only win one game out of a series just to keep us interested and lose the others. T-Lish is saying the same thing. Diamondbacks will lose 2 of 3 just based on pitching matchups. Dodgers have their 2 best pitchers going tonight and Wednesday, Yamamoto and Glasnow. In fact, pitches tomorrow, so that's their best shot. Well, we won the series against the Reds. We lost the series against the Orioles. We swept the Reds in the previous. So I guess that just means the Reds stink, right?
Yeah, the Reds aren't good.
Yeah.
You still have to beat them. You got to pass the test in front.
It
of
all
you.
averages out to my assessment. Diamondbacks are good for a win. They're good for a win. So
yeah, they're just limping right now.
Right. So still limping. Are they still limping? I'm looking at the injury list here. I guess I could read it off. Miguel Castro's on the 15-day IL. He'll be back on the 28th. Alec Thomas, 10-day. He'll be back on the 24th. Lucas Frias, 23rd. Jorge Barosa on the 21st. Jose Castillo, supposed to be back today. So actually, we should get all these guys back quick. Is that everybody?
I don't think that's everybody. I don't think Perdomo's back.
Okay, because I guess I didn't get a full list of the injury report then.
Yeah. And honestly, Alec Thomas and Geraldo Perdomo are the two, to me, that are the most important guys to get back. They just, outside of anybody that's obviously injured pitching wise.
Well, still, Alec Thomas back in 4 days. I don't know when he'll actually start again, but
yeah, so he's not going to be back in time for this series, but it's good news that he's coming back. I do think they need him. And that's going to, help things go along a little bit more smoothly with the Diamondbacks, who are, like we talked about before, just trying to tread water right now and be in the conversation when you start to get to the All-Star breaks. You can make a run at that point. You just don't want to be too far out of things when that happens, because you want to be able to maybe make some moves at the trade deadline, boost your rotation or your bullpen or whatever, positional needs you might have. Like that's what you want. So having Alek Thomas back, it would be nice to get him back for this series, but getting him back at any point in the next week is still good news. Still good news.
All right. So how many games is this series, by the way? Is it 3?
I believe it's a 3-game series. Yeah.
All right.
And unfortunately, and I forget which texter mentioned this, but yeah, the pitching rotation matchup doesn't necessarily work that well for the Diamondbacks because Gallen, Kelly, and Rodriguez are all going to be. This is not their part of the rotation to pitch, and so Dodgers have an advantage pitching wise, where the Diamondbacks kind of don't.
Damn it. Navy Devil says D-backs throwing a bullpen game tonight. Well, you know how that goes. Yeah. Jonesy says, I saw a post a few weeks ago by Major League Baseball that the Diamondbacks had the highest run differential for a team under 500 in Major League Baseball history, at least at that time. We are just so inconsistent. A lot of that's due to injuries. Listen, there's a good team under the surface here, but like Randy and now Keon has pointed out, got to get healthy. Got to get healthy. That's it. That was, of course, Ralph's excuse on the Dodgers a lot of the time. We're hurt. Oh, we're a good team. We're just injured. Oh, we're this, we're that. So
and it does
fair
matter.
enough.
Yeah. So I understand why you'd say that, though. I think with the Dodgers, they spent so much more money to be so much deeper. It really shouldn't affect the Dodgers the same way that it affects the Diamondbacks. But yeah, the Diamondbacks are hanging in there, and I think that they can still be a team in contention. They're what they're doing in the standings right now has them very much in a good spot.
Big Jake says Diamondbacks need to get back on my TV. They've already lost all the momentum created from the World Series run last year. Yet another terrible ownership move. What does that have to do with getting back on your TV?
Just on some network so that people can go watch them. As opposed to going through all of the MLB TV shenanigans to watch the team. It'd be nice if they were just on TV. Okay, if I need to get whatever cable service to watch the Diamondbacks, fine. But I just want to be able to watch them.
God bless Ishbia for what he did for the Suns, right?
Yeah.
Officer Friendly says, I just want he wanted to tell us, I appreciate your station playing those PSAs for distracted driving and buzz driving. We see people driving on their cell phones all the time, and it's infuriating. Yeah, that's one of the things that always worries me about this kind of show. When we were in the midday, we thought, well, people just sitting there at their lunch break or somebody's just at work texting from a cubicle. We actually, when we switched to afternoon drive, at my protest, I didn't want to come here, but we did PSAs, even like little liners saying, "Hey, don't text and drive. This is not worth your life. Don't be in a moving vehicle texting. And I always say, even don't be in a like if you're in stop and go traffic, you're in a traffic jam. You shouldn't do that either. Next thing you know, you're getting distracted. You take your foot off the wrong pedal and you hit somebody, even at like 2 miles an hour. Now there goes your afternoon. So it always did worry me, but I think everybody got the idea. We've never had anybody text in saying, "Oops," So,
and we always mention to people, hey, if you have an idea or something you want to text, pull over.
Yeah, don't do this in a moving vehicle. Don't do this in stop and go. Be smart about it because, this show is free, but the accident you might get into is definitely not. Whether it's, the deductible or just the amount of money or somebody's life. I mean, that's also possible too. So nothing you say on this show or text in is worth that kind of nonsense. So, we like playing those PSAs to remind people every now and then. But, some people use voice to text. I guess if you absolutely have to, okay, but I still think that's distracting. I still think that could be bad. So hopefully we haven't had any incidences and we don't. So anyway, 888-368-1580. Big Jake says, I am not buying an internet subscription. Well, all right. So listen,
no one's blaming you.
I understand that. I do. And my wife is giving me the side eye, like,
you're going to get rid of some of these streamings. You're going to get some of these counts out of here. And I don't want another internet subscription if I can avoid it. But this is just the way it's going, to where we had the conversation the other night. It's like, honey, I think we might just get rid of YouTube TV, because I'm not going to do the Sunday ticket again. Not this year. Not yet. Not until they get it better. Not until I feel like it's worth it. And I didn't like the way YouTube presented it. And if I don't need YouTube TV for Sunday ticket, I don't need YouTube TV. Most of what we watch is I can watch stuff on over the air broadcast, and I can watch, whatever I do subscribe to, and then there's free TV. Like, what was it? Is the Fubo free?
I have to check that. I know Tubi is free.
Tubi, and there's free, like regular television stuff you can get.
I think they just had like a $30 million deal, Tubi, to have Major League Baseball.
There you go.
More Major League Baseball on that platform for free. So
there's ways of getting your regular TV without paying for it. And then, whichever one of these streams you like. And then there comes Megatron. He says, you can still get Sunday ticket without a YouTube TV subscription. Also something I know. But I also liked being able to watch just regular TV and have a DVR thing going. So, but now it's just getting to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm about to pull back hard. I'm about to pull back hard on all this nonsense. So, but the future, and the reason I'm saying all these things, the future is going to be streaming and this and that. And if it may be even the recreation of cable TV through us selectively streaming things. Okay. So, but I get it. I understand that you don't want to, Jonesy, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You just got to figure out what's important to you. What do you want? And that's how you're going to get it, and get rid of the stuff that doesn't matter, I guess. T-Bone says, yeah, that's why I don't text in as often as I want to. Being safe. There you go, T-Bone. Keep being safe. I appreciate that. The Tom says, I love those PSAs as well, but the men's ASMR wipes, that's kind of cringe. Needs to go. Well, that's not a PSA.
Yeah. And we don't have a say in the matter.
That's a paid commercial. You're going to hear the men's ASMR, and you're going to like it. And you know what? Henry Winkler is going to tell you about that GA a few more times too.
Yeah.
And you're going to like it.
I hope you understand that his eyes are very important to him.
Thank God for Fonzie and his dearly departed father-in-law he loved very much. Whistling Gerbil says, I hated that I couldn't select which games to quad screen. That is exactly my complaint to Whistling Gerbil. Exactly one of my complaints. Should have been able to do that, right? Should have been able to say, I want this, 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 and here. And I wouldn't want quad. I'd want 6. I want to be able to boom, 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 so I can kind of monitor what's going on there.
It's crazy because I have the MLB TV. I do that all the time. I just pick 4 games, boom, boom, boom.
And boo-boo that you can't.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Big Jake says, when every other market in the country has their local team on TV, but leave it up to the Snakes ownership to screw it up and get no deal done, forcing people to buy a subscription to watch games. I hear you, man. He says the Snakes aren't worth a subscription. Well, that's where I'm going to. Did you know they went to the World Series last year? Just saying. So I don't know about worth. Maybe just not worth to you. Jonesy says, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't say that. But yes, I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm getting you confused. And sometimes the text line assigns the wrong names to people. So my apologies, Jonesy. Baker's Cocky Hen says, streaming sounds like it could be a much nastier thing that Moist One would be into. Why would you even bring that up?
Yeah.
Why would you point that out?
And why would you try to summon him? He wasn't here. We were having a great day.
Scream Bloody Mary 3 times into a mirror that by just bringing up Moist One. What's wrong with you, Baker's Cocky Hens?
Now we're about to read the dirtiest text of all time that we won't even be able to tell you what it is.
Yeah, it'll be filthy filth. The filthy filth is going to be filthier filth than the filth that was filthier filth before. Big Jake says, does anyone know they went to the World Series? Yeah, they're not even on TV. Well, it was on Fox. The playoffs. So, yes, Jake. Yes. Ringless Joe says KD's actually only 35, and he's the best player on the Suns by far. If they trade away Booker to the Knicks for anything you want, You can build up a bench, get a solid point guard, maximize KD and Beal's shooting potential, fill the rest of the holes in the ship. KD could win a championship with the right team around him. He'd have to do it fast.
Yeah, like you're basically saying your window's 2 years, because then that's when the contract is up, and then you're gonna have to do the whole song and dance of let's get KD to stay if you haven't won by then, and that's if he's still the same player at that point. Like he's still a great player, This is why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's not the player that he was even a few years ago, which is insane to say given how good he still is. But are you going to have this KD in a couple of years? It's a big bet.
Probably not.
It's a big bet.
Maybe. I don't know. Big George says, Jeffrey, any chance you can pull the same trick with YouTube TV that you did with DirecTV? Call the guy up in India and threaten to cancel. YouTube could give a crap. They do not care. They do not care about your loyalty.
And that is because YouTube is owned by Google, and Google just prints money. So
Big Jake is just angry at the Diamondbacks. He's still texting in. Less ratings than The Masked Singer. WNBA pulling better ratings than last year's World Series. I think 5 people watched. Okay, I don't think you're correct.
I don't think
WNBA.
that's true.
The
the
WNBA
WNBA
sure more
would,
than 5 people.
I'm pretty sure the WNBA would love to have those numbers, but
I just love how angry you are about this. Yeah, it's cracking me up. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, other assorted things, plus on this date in Big George's sports history. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Get to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale and get a king bed for a queen price. Save up to $700 and get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses, all with free and fast delivery. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher with Josh Garcia of the Miracle Mile Deli. Josh, I want to thank you and your family for making such a huge difference over the last 75 years in the restaurant business in Arizona.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve generations of families like yours in the Valley over the last 7 decades, and we are extremely grateful to be celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2024 with a variety of different specials. So come on down to our Phoenix location at 16th Street in Campbell with your family and friends and celebrate with us. For more information, visit miraclemiledeli.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. And look at you, hands perfectly placed on the wheel. Not like the driver to the right of you who's really going after that drum solo. Save with DriveWise in the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. Terms and conditions apply.
Mom, where are my keys?
Why do I have to take out the garbage? I'm too sick to go to school. Quit hogging the bathroom.
If you're having a hard time living with all the noise, it's even harder to live without it. Fake pills with fentanyl are the #1 killer of youth in Arizona. Learn how to talk to your kids at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Arizona's new home for sports.
Daily Blender here on 1580, the Fanatic. Tell you what, that bookie that used to work with Otani's translator guy, I guess he had other clients in the baseball world. Turns out David Fletcher used to play for the Angels, was making bets with the exact same bookie. And they say, well, those are illegal bets. And now it'll be interesting to see, well, did he bet on his own games?
That's the next question.
Mm-hmm. Right now, he's playing in Atlanta's farm system in the AAA level, but according to the rules of the Major League Baseball, player who bets on baseball games in which they did not participate, 1 year suspension. Player who bets on his own games, banned for life. Boy, he better hope that these this guy's records don't show him betting on his games.
Yeah, and even that 1 year ban is going to be a lot for somebody who's not quite yet on a major league salary. That 1 year is going to hurt.
David Fletcher, his career might be over. Might be over. Well, we shall see. Speaking of betting, Paul Bissonnette, TNT hockey. I'm sorry. TNT hockey analyst guy. I guess they were sitting there and they were watching the game there, and they're like, there was a controversial call by the officials. And he goes, I don't know if that ref's got the DraftKings sportsbook going right now, but that was kind of a BS call.
Oh boy.
Feel like that's going to get him in a little trouble.
More than a little.
Hockey, we don't hear about bad officiating as much as you do the other sports. Hockey generally pretty clean, right?
I think it's genuinely better. I mean, yeah. I watch less hockey, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But
yeah, that's also a good point.
When I do watch hockey, it just seems like the officials are more tuned into what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but you're a TNT hockey analyst, Paul Bissonnette, and now you're, of course, hockey's a different sort of culture, isn't it?
It is, but I can't
imagine chirping and the way they call each other out, and they talk very bluntly and frankly about things.
Yeah, this is not for the benefit of people so much as I just don't think the NHL wants their name connected with one of their officials being on the take, even as a joke. If it plants that seed of doubt in the institution, then I can't imagine the NHL is thrilled to hear their broadcast partner have a broadcaster say that.
And the TNT could just turn and say, "Hey, we're doing you a favor. We don't just let it happen. Just relax. Have you not seen inside the NBA? Just be happy we're here. We're doing this for. Of course, then again, TNT might also be like, "Oh crap, we're losing the basketball. Oh,
let's not lose the NHL too.
God damn it, Paul."
There are lots of ways to insinuate that the official is doing a bad job than insinuating that they might be making some money from the bad job that they're doing.
So saying they're on the take, probably not great, but if you'd have made a Angel Hernandez comparison joke, nobody'd be mad.
No.
Not one person would be mad right now.
If all he said was, how did Angel Hernandez get out there?
Mm-hmm. Now you're good. Who? No one told me Angel Hernandez could skate.
Perfect.
That's it.
Flawless.
Writes itself, Paul. Now you're in trouble. Oh, well. Speaking of in trouble, the Arena Football League, I guess they're going to keep on going, but they've had a rough bump here. It's been a rough bump as they've been trying to get started, and they're supposed to have 16 teams, but right now they got 10. I know Arizona is going to have one next year. I think I'm being told it's the Bandits, but there's just all sorts of problems with it, but they're going to keep going. I guess the Wolfpack, the Washington Wolfpack, they issued a statement angrily at the AFL leadership for struggles that have been happening in the league, and so there's some dissension. There's some issues. I don't know if this is so much of an issue. It's going to take this down. They brought Jeff Fisher in to serve as interim commissioner, which
with all of his commissioner experience.
Yeah.
Jeff Fisher, known for leading things well.
On that moment of decision,
don't feel like confidence is the word I'm going to work with right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they are going to continue. And so we'll see what happens. I hope they last long enough for Arizona's team to get going. I do hope that everything settles down. But I mean, I'm not even sure how many teams there are.
I'm not sure
11?
either, but there was a
10?
Georgia team that just imploded financially,
Mhm.
and they haven't even gotten started. So that's not a good sign. Not a good sign. The Georgia Force, I think.
Well, I guess we can hope. That's all we can do is hope. But they say we're moving forward. Okay. And the AAF wasn't shutting down either. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't shutting down until they ran into
Until they
the
weren't.
reality of having exactly $0.
We're rooting for you. By the way, this is probably better. Randy's not here for this. I wish he's here for a good baseball conversation. I wish Randy'd be here for a NASCAR conversation. But from what I understand, Keon knows NASCAR as well. But it's probably better he's not here because he would have to talk about how Joey Logano, the driver he likes the least, just dominated and won a race that he led pretty much the entire time.
That would
it
be
was-
tough. Like
yeah,
if you can
the
just
race at Wilkesboro was all Logano.
that'd be like if the Cowboys won a Super Bowl and then I had to be here to talk about it. It would be hard. I would
So-
not enjoy that conversation at all.
But that wasn't even the most important part of the thing. Okay, so Joey Logano won the race. Okay, he turned it into an F1 experience by being in lead the entire damn time. Okay, Joey Logano, whatever. But what was really interesting was the Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Scuffle. It wasn't even much as a scuffle as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. clocking Kyle Busch right in the. Kyle Busch didn't want to fight.
No,
but he went over there, got in his face. He didn't have to go and get in Stenhouse Jr.'s face. Stenhouse had enough. Pow! Right in the kisser. Right in the kisser. And then, of course, other drivers and crew from another thing, because they were by somebody else's trailer. It got into this big melee. And so it wasn't really a fight as much as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. clocking a guy. Now, he's probably going to get suspended. Some bad thing is going to happen to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but something should also happen to Busch, because if Busch hadn't gone over there, it would have been no trouble.
Isn't there a penalty in hockey for instigating? Like
the other thing is they were both in a place they weren't really supposed to be.
Yeah.
They
and
weren't by their own stuff.
Kyle's a little bit of a troll too. He's kind of a hard to like person. And so he knew what he was doing going over there. I am unconvinced that Kyle Busch just wanted to go over there and have a civil conversation where nobody was pissed off.
Oh, I don't think he saw violence happening. I think he went over there to bitch, but I don't think, because I think Stenhouse Jr., he hit him with a good one.
Yeah, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., if you look at him, that guy does not miss time in the gym. That
Did
guy
not realize when we met him in
jacked.
person, he looked small.
Yeah.
But he was all jacked in this. I was like,
oh my God.
whoa, you know what? Some people wear their clothes well.
It's like,
kinda
has
hide
that guy been hitting the protein? Like, man, he looked huge. And yeah, Kyle Busch has to be the worst person at reading body language, because there was a point where his fists start to ball up, Stenhouse, and I was like, oh, he's about to throw a punch. And they kept going for a little bit more, and then Stenhouse hit him. Well, you know what they say, F around and find out.
And that's what happened. Kyle Busch, he found out. But of course, this will end in, suspension, at least for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I don't know how much will happen to Busch. Something should happen to Busch.
Yeah, and I'm sure something will, because he's got a reputation.
Running late. Let's do this. Time now for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1945, one-armed left fielder Pete Gray led the St. Louis Browns to a doubleheader sweep of the New York Yankees. Back to me, Jeffrey. I cut it short just because one-armed left fielder. Yeah, I guess it was a doubleheader. He made 10 putouts with just one hand. He would catch it and do a thing where he would throw it in one motion. He was, I guess what happened was back in 1923, he was in a wagon accident where he lost his arm, but he just loved baseball, and he learned how to catch the ball in his glove and then drop the glove and be able to transfer the ball into his hand like that. I don't know how he did that, because glove, ball, just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he did it and was damn good at it. So Pete Gray back in 1945, just getting it done. I'll tell you what, today we see people with disabilities and we're like, wow, that's amazing. Because we've had one-armed players, one-armed pitcher that would, do the same kind of thing. But you do what you got to do. Even all the way back to 1945, people find a way to overcome. That's one of the nice pluses for humanity.
Yeah. And I think we had like a one-armed basketball player a few years ago, like high-level high school guy. You're just like, how is he doing any of the things he's doing?
One-armed guy, and it was 1.5 armed guy in the NFL not too long ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Missing a hand at least, I think. So, yeah. Baker's Cocky Hen says, double header, 1 arm, 2 heads, beast mode. No, I didn't say he had 2 heads. It was okay, forget it. I don't have time to explain this. Pete Gray did not have 2 heads. It was just the 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Double. I just shut up. All right, that's it. I'm going home. Everybody else, have yourselves a great night. We'll see you back in your radios again tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS